Yaosafo and the Yaosapong and the Asumafo. An apostle is somebody who's been sent with a very definite mandate. It's not a position to fight over. An apostle is a commitment to represent a sender. And an apostle always has somebody who sends and a people to whom the person is sent. So it's not really a church word. It's more an assignment word. You know, we've converted many words into like churchisms. Fivefold ministry, apostle, prophet, and those things. An apostle is somebody who's been sent. That's what the Greek word means. So the question is, who sent you? The thing you're doing, who sent you? And who have you been sent to? Because your assignment is always to a people. Now, one of the ways of measuring whether what you're doing is making impact is who gets blessed by what you do. So who have you been assigned to? Some have been assigned to rural people. Some have been assigned to women. Some have been assigned to children. Some have been assigned to the aged. Some have been assigned to Ghana or Ghanaians. Some have been assigned to Africans or to the black race. Some have been assigned to the whole world. So who have you been assigned to? You need to identify your assignee or say your assignor. And the best way to know who you've been assigned to is to go to the person who sent you. It's very important to know. And you also need to know the tools of your assignment. So for your sapong, it's the wisdom of music. There's very interesting songs like this one. This song is really about Joseph. There's another one about a dysfunctional church. So what's the tool? What are the tools of your assignment? They include your gifts, your attitudes, your behaviors, your talents, your knowledge. Oh yes, your experience. So they are all parts of the tools of the assignment. So take a sheet of paper or take a notepad. Who sent you? That's the first thing. Who sent me to do what I'm doing? Is it my desire for fame and money, or is it something much deeper? Is it my compassion for people, or just the need and the itch for recognition? Why are we doing what we do? Number two, who have you been sent to? And what's the message? What do you have to say to them? Business is not just making money. It's about being sent to solve a problem. Yeah. Because there are many more things we could all be doing that could give us much more money. But we focus on the assignment. Being true to what God asked us to do. Being faithful. Using the skills and the tools that He's gifted us with. Through the process of experience and learning and knowledge and sacrifice to bring change to our world. Positive change. Oh yes. So if you're an apostle, who is your target? That's the message for the mornings, brought to you by ADB, the People's Bank. ADB PLC, truly agric and more. They've been assigned to those in the agric sector, and they're expanding that rapidly. Call 0302-210-210. Let's talk about better loan facilities, reducing your interest rates, and increasing your tenor. We're starting off the Citi Breakfast Show today with a newspaper review. Today begins the final week of the month of June. So that means that from next week we have the second half of the year upon us. We're ending the month with week 4 of the Citi Business Festival. And of course, we're focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises, starting with a conversation on how to effectively sell. We call it strategic sales for SMEs. That's at 9:05. We have a big interview today. Minister for Communication and Digitalization. She's also the MP for Ablekuma West. Honorable Esla Owusu Ekufo is my guest. That's at 8:15. Send your questions ahead of time on the telecom sector. All those nice issues. It's an interactive show as well. So we are happy to hear from you on WhatsApp 054-998-6996. We'll be jumping into the headlines shortly. It's brought to you by Total. This is one of the things I love about Total, the Startup of the Year Challenge Edition 4. An amazing, very meaningful program. If you have an innovative business idea or a project that you know can impact society positively, then join the 4th edition of the Startup of the Year Challenge. They want to start you up like the way you start your car. They have many categories. They have the best entrepreneur, the best project or innovative idea, and the best project promoting or related to sustainable and affordable energies. Go to www.startupper.totalenergies.com for your chance to win financial support, professional mentorship, and a spotlight for your project. Someone sent me a text this weekend and asked me that he wants to send money to somebody in an African country, and I've been saying something about it, so I should tell him the name of the thing. So the thing is called PAPS, Pan-African Payment and Settlement System. It's live at Fidelity Bank, so you can walk into any of Fidelity's branches and say, look, I want to send money to somebody in Africa, and I don't want to buy dollars. They'll make it very easy for you, whether it's Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, or the Gambia. Fidelity Bank is open with the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System. When we come back, the duo, one from 3 Town, the other from Accra Academy. Richard and Nathan. Jumping into the headlines. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
We understand the excitement of preparations that comes when your child gains admission into senior high school. But we at the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB PLC, also understand the financial burden this comes with. The chopbox, trunk, school mattress, you name it. That's why we have partnered with Prospectus Ghana Limited to offer financial support for parents by introducing the ADB Quick Purchase. With a smart loan of up to 20,000 Ghana cedis, you can pick up all the items on your child's prospectus for school. ADB PLC offers you a repayment plan of 12 months to relieve you of all that heavy financial burden. Every ADB customer who receives their salaries through the bank, military and police personnel, and all other workers on the Controller and Accountant General's payroll qualify for this facility. Walk into any ADB branch nationwide or any Prospectus Ghana Limited office near you to apply for the ADB Quick Purchase. Terms and conditions apply. ADB, the People's Bank. ADB, surely a Greek and more.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
A lot of work to do today. We have a lot of headlines to go through. We have a big interview coming up. We have business festival and all of that. So let me say good morning to Richard de la Sky.
Good morning, my brother. Dumegalaki Fonama.
Wonderful. You've given me a big name. Dumega. You mean I'm a big man in the town, in the system, in the country. Wow. Yeah. Wonderful. Good morning, Nathan.
Hi. Good morning.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright.
So you are Onupa and Sky is Dumega. Yeah. I like Mondays. We set the tone for the rest of the week. We can get things done quickly.
Yep.
So let's jump into the headlines.
Okay. So the Ghanaian Times comes with a story: Homowo Keep Accra Clean campaign. Manche is launching massive cleanup. 25 GA local assemblies to take part. That's the Greater Accra Regional local assemblies to take part, and sanitation offenders, we're told, will be arrested. Bernard, as we're talking about that, just in front of the is it the dome near Jolu, the church, the
Parents Dome.
Parents Dome, Charlie. So some baller
Did it fall? Did the driver?
No, either somebody came to pour it there, but I know that there used to be some bins there to collect baller.
A lot of it on
Yes.
the right or the left?
On the right when you're coming
Farm.
towards Kaukuri. Yes. It's not acceptable, so please they should do something about it. Also, WAEC set to organize 2024 BECE receives 47 million Ghana cedis from government. You know the government has been owing them for some time now. And then Compassion Restoration Center initiates zero drug abuse addiction campaign among students nationwide.
The Daily Guide says ICC dismisses Micheletti case against Ghana. 2 NDC MPs cause chaos in Parliament. Kandapa in Bole over military youth clash, and man kills son. That's on page 6. And our guest later this morning is on the front page of the Daily Guide, Esla Uswe Kufu. She has launched Foundation to empower youth.
Okay, let me take you to the Chronicle. They repeat the story about the Manche seeking to clean up Accra. Also on the front page, Domi Kingsu market traders, no Frema, no vote. So they are saying that choose Frema as vice presidential nominee or will not vote for the MPP. Also, Ye rolls out a business and employment assistance program for 1,452 businesses.
The Herald newspaper leads with this story that says how MPP 2016 manifesto pledge influenced ambulance trial. Akufo-Addo, Ajiman Menu, how Akumsin captured in procurement craze. Okujeto Ablakwa drops Snit Hotel bomb on a Greek minister. Rock City Hotel took part in acquisition bid without GRA tax clearance certificate. An energy minister, board CEO shoot down GRA SML deal resumption.
The New Finder says this morning, revival of agric underway as large-scale farming under EEP makes good progress. And also on the front page this morning, we're told that timetable for unplanned outages not feasible. This is according to the Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. And then the story about Ye also here on the front page of the New Finder.
If you go to the Republic Press, it says Ablakwa caught lying again as Rock City tax clearance certificate pops up. MPP faces hard choice. Crunch meeting ahead to select running mate.
Okay.
Make me president, Baumia urges Ghanaians. And John Mahama says democracy is sustained by patriotic leaders. And there's also the homework cleanup directive here on the front page of the Republic Press.
Beautiful. The New Finder says this morning, Baupizi in London. Make me president. I've passed VIP exams.
Is that how the headline is written?
Yeah, that's how the
Baupizi.
Yeah, Baupizi in London.
This is the publisher,
Yeah.
the new publisher.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Also, Yoko boss fires up newly trained military couples. Esla Foundation present hope to Ablekuma West. Angela List disproves deception, corruption accusations, and then the story about the Gamanche cleaning up Accra also on the front page.
All right, the Inquisitor newspaper says who partners Baumia for 2024? Napo flies high again in another credible survey after that of NIB.
Allah.
Thou shalt not name the name of your Lord in vain. Let's move to other headlines.
Deadly plot. SP to be accused of $5 million bribery. And Reverend Wengam visits energy minister and deputy.
Let me take you to the Anchor newspaper. Napo leads again in another survey.
Okay.
A suitable choice to face opposition boot for boot.
It's actually the same headline in two papers.
Yes,
So
and he's sitting on the front.
version says Napo leads again.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
then
this one says Napo flies high again.
Yes.
okay, so just a little editing.
So he's sitting in his Kunyam and you cross his leg.
Meanwhile, other contenders are still also photographed there.
Yes.
Meanwhile, this is a terrible one. Sleepy driver kills policeman at checkpoint.
It's horrifying story on the wager.
Sleepy.
Yes, Charlie. Horrifying story. Also, Jane Nana meets a female journalist ahead of party's manifesto lunch. And NDC MP abandons close friend in difficult times after pressure from party. Charlie.
Let's move to other headlines.
The Ghanaian publisher says don't be intimidated by anyone. Afari tells Baumia.
Okay.
And Ochehene calls for better pay for teachers.
Let me go to the last newspapers. I have this, the last two I have this morning. Informer says $5 million smear campaign against OSP expert. deposed. Again, a poll topping all makes the front page. Absenteeism in Parliament, Ghanaians unhappy. The photograph of the Speaker of Parliament is here, and then also the Gamanche still.
All right.
To clean up Accra.
Okay, Gamanche is also on the front page of the BNFT. Other stories though: GSE expands market, introduces automated OTC trading platform for unlisted securities. Zenith Bank sponsors overall best candidate category at WAEC Distinction Awards, and internal auditors crucial for ensuring effective public financial systems.
And then if you go to the Daily Post, there's nothing more dangerous to Ghana than an imperial chief justice. That's coming in from Professor Azar. He is criticizing the Supreme Court on the Puni panel change. And democracy is sustained by patriotic leaders, not unscrupulous ones, according to former President John Dramani Mahama. And COVID-19 made many MPP MPs millionaires. Former MPP MP alleges. Oh, really?
Let me take you online for a few headlines. GN Bank says, give us back our license and assets. This is Indom to the BOG.
Okay.
Also, cocoa farmers blame galamseyers over decline in cocoa production. Embark on campaign devoid of acrimony. Yana to Mahama and Baumia.
Just listen.
Meanwhile, NAPCO trainees to Baumia release our outstanding arrears. Meanwhile, $145 million Boteman Sports Complex hosts church service.
Can you imagine?
We have all the juicy details for you.
Oh man, I go wherever.
HIV infection surge due to non-disclosure among couples.
Oh, Charlie.
So people are hiding AIDS and spreading it quietly.
That's not fair.
Yeah. So that's all on the citynewsroom.com website. My Joe Online also leads with Indum. Give us back our license and our assets, Indum to BOG. Meanwhile, sale of Snit hotels, all the back and forth is driven by politics, according to a Japan Mesa.
I see.
And then MPs who fail to show up in Parliament should not be paid. A suggestion from Andy Apia, which I know you will agree with. Lab workers have no conditions of service. That's why the strike is happening. Meanwhile, there's a very tragic one here. At least 1,300 people died during the Hajj. This is Saudi Arabia officially.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And the residents abandoned decomposing corpse of a man struck by lightning.
Oh my word.
A few more stories. If you go to Star FM, government must be transparent in the negotiation with unions of Stingame. And then in sports, Azamati edges closer to qualification for the Olympic Games. Ghana News Agency is talking about the use of NIB for MPP running mate survey as abuse of office, according to Kucha to Ablakwa. And then government must prioritize national brand communication. All right, let's jump into the details of the stories.
Okay, so there was so much uncertainty surrounding
the BC.
The BC,
and now there's some clarity.
Yes, there's some clarity. Let me take you to the Ghanaian Times. Page 3 of the newspaper has the details. Julius Yaupetete writing this morning says government has released 47.125 million Ghana cedis to the West African Examination Council (WAEC) for the council to conduct this year's basic education certificate examination. Now the amount, according to the council, represents 49% of the 95.83 million Ghana cedis owed the examination management body by the government. Now the head of public relations at the WAEC, John Kapi, told Accra-based 3 FM that contrary to the assertion by the minority chief with Frank Anodompe, majority chief whip actually, Frank Anodompre, that 80 million Ghana cedis had been released to the council. Only 47 million had hit the accounts of WAEC as of Friday, June 21, 2023.
So the exam will take place as planned. Another one in Daily Guide, Ghana has won a case against Micheletti.
Yes, that's on page 3 of the paper. And it says the International Chamber of Commerce has dismissed an international arbitration instituted by Micheletti Company Limited against the government of Ghana. That happened in May 2023, claiming damages of $400,000. The company had also claimed accrued interest at the current Bank of Ghana Forex rate plus 3% points starting from February 2009 till date of final payment. And the international arbitration was instituted against the backdrop of what the claimant alleged to be a breach of contract relating to the rehab or the rehabbing of the Ohinijan Sports Stadium in Accra. And the ICC tribunal, comprising Sadaf Habib, President Shadrach Ahin, and Justice Amenuvo members, in its partial award decided it had jurisdiction to hear the matter but dismissed the claims because the arbitration proceedings were filed outside the Limitations Act of Ghana.
Let's talk about cleanup in Accra.
Yes, so let me take you to this story on page 15 of the Ghanaian Times. Homo keep
Keep Accra clean.
Accra clean campaign. Tell us. Yeah, just 2 minutes. Now, Gamanche launches cleanup campaign. We're told by a Times reporter that Gamanche. No, so it should not. There should not be any king there. Gamanche Taki Teku Churu II has launched the Homowo clean up exercise, cautioning that all shops must remain closed on the day of the exercise. There's a quote here that says, "We expect all shops and businesses in the designated area to close on the day of the exercise. We also urge leaders of various groups and associations to participate fully." He cautioned now the Gamanche made these remarks when he launched the initiative in Accra on Friday. Now, the 1 month long campaign themed "Let's Keep Accra Clean" is aimed at promoting good waste management practices, improve environmental cleanliness, and instill a sense of community ownership and responsibility towards environmental.
Have you noticed that with people's loss of confidence in political leadership, traditional leadership is rising to the occasion?
Yep.
So you're seeing Asante in Gamanche and some of the other traditional leaders leading very meaningful action. So now give us back our license and assets. Indom to BOG. This story is on citinewsroom.com. The owner of the defunct GM Bank, Dr. Papakwesi Indom, has made a heartfelt plea to Dr. Ernest Addison, the governor of the central bank, to pay attention to the new facts and reinstate his banking license and restore his assets, which were revoked due to the bank's insolvency. Dr. Indom in his appeal urged the BOG governor to preserve the assets of GM Bank in good condition as they are ready to resume operations, implying that the bank's assets are still viable and could be revitalized if its license is reinstated. Now, the background of the story is given, but in a Facebook post on Sunday, June 23, Dr. Indom vehemently disputed the Bank of Ghana's assertion that GM Bank lacks sufficient capital adequacy. He implored Dr. Ernest Addison, the governor, to re-examine the evidence presented in the 2019 GN Savings and Loans Transition Report, which reveals that the bank has sufficient funds in its accounts, contrary to the BOG claims.
Okay.
More on this story later on.
If you go to page 4 of the Inquisitor newspaper, the paper is alleging that there is a plot against the SP, and it's saying that the well-orchestrated plan by forces within government and outside to oust Ghana's special prosecutor, Mr. Kisie Jabin, is on bigger and better after the moves to have him impeached are still lingering around. The new game plan has been fashioned, and on this occasion, the SP would be accused of receiving a bribe from one of the persons that his outfit investigated. The whole agenda would involve the rolling out of an audio tape with the person who was investigated claiming that she sent someone to offer a $5 million bribe to Mr. Ijabin. What makes the plot grimy is that the person who made those false claims is dead, but her assigns are all out to destroy the integrity of the special prosecutor. So that's what the Inquisitor is saying.
Oh, okay. Well, let me take you to some other stories this morning. There's a story that I saw yesterday. The Boteman story, Charlie. The Finder has it on page 15 of the newspaper. Do you have it somewhere you want to read?
After recently hosting the 2023 Africa Games, the $145 million Boteman Sports Complex has come under the spotlight after a video surfaced online of a church service being organized in one of the halls of the complex. The hall served as the venue for multiple indoor sports disciplines during the near month-long games held in Accra 3 months ago after a year's delay, partly due to the fallout of the COVID pandemic. In a viral video posted to the social media site X, formerly called Twitter, people could be seen conducting a church service busily inside one of the domes of the multipurpose facility. This has led to many fearing the worst, considering the long list of plus sports facilities that have decayed over the years due to poor maintenance. Now I need to tell you something. While the story is pointing this out, a listener who actually walked to the place,
the church,
came up with a very dire assessment of what I think she saw. And she was basically saying that the place is unkempt and that if we don't take care, it will suffer the fate of many of the similar fate of many of our facilities. So she says, Bernard, I trekked to the Boteman Sports Complex down the road to see if I could access the pool. The place was deserted. A company called T-Bell were taking measurements of the space to price for fumigation, and there were people tending to the grass. It's heartbreaking seeing such a fine facility that would most certainly rot. What can be done? Who is responsible for it being utilized appropriately? So this person was complaining about the fact that the place was not being used. And then this story pops up about a church using it. So I'm not sure whether the usage is this type of usage is what we want.
Charlie, we finished the sports thing just a few months ago, right?
Well,
and just recently we won the bid to do the athletics thing in Ghana.
We have a program there, a swimming competition. which we are organizing in July. That's the kind of thing you should use it.
Yes.
So table tennis competition, swimming competition, and stuff.
Inter-school something.
That's what we are doing there.
And the challenge, that's the irresponsibility in this country. It's just too much.
It's called culture of maintenance. And you know, it's funny, when I was writing my social studies exam in BEC many years ago, that issue was there. That one of the reasons why Ghanaian things don't last is culture of maintenance. So we write it in exam, but we don't implement it.
The NSA will say that they are using it to generate funds.
Oh, they should stop that.
Isn't that the same thing they do with the stadia, where they used to do concerts and things?
Yes,
and
so they said that they were renting it out to make money.
They should stop that thing. We can do sporting activities and raise money as a result. That thing that they are doing is wrong. They should stop it.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Domi and Kensu market traders are saying no Freema, no vote. Let's do some politics.
Hey, no Freema, no vote.
Allah. Now, Sebastian R. Freku says this morning that traders from the Domi market in Accra and the Kensu market in the Ahafano South West District in the Ashanti region last Friday simultaneously appealed to the New Patriotic Party to consider a Baumia Akosia Freema Osei Opare ticket for the upcoming presidential election. Now, they praised Mrs. Freema Osei Opare for her contribution to women empowerment and socio-economic activities to grow both the local and the national economy. Now, chanting refrains like "No Freema, no vote," the traders at Domi indicated their preference for the chief of staff to partner Dr.
It looks like the Natoshi one has died down.
No, it's there.
No, you know, in the past 2 months, the headlines have been Natoshi Freema on the women's side. But it looks like now the Freema one is getting momentum. But then the Napo one is also pretty strong now.
Yes. Page 7 of the Inquisitor says Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe has leaped again in another survey on the most preferred person to be Dr. Baumia's running mate. The new survey done by Research Trust Limited has revealed that some 70% of people in the MPP want Dr. Prempe, popularly called Napo, to be Dr. Baumia's running mate. An earlier survey done by the nation's spy outfit, the NIB, or the National Investigations Bureau, also mentioned Dr. Prempe as the most preferred person within the rank and file of the NPP to be Dr. Baumia's partner for 2024. The story goes on to say the work done by Research Trust Limited virtually confirms the legitimate work that the NIB did and has silenced certain personalities who otherwise were craving to become Dr. Baumia's running mate.
That's certainly not silence the Domi market women. they are not reading the pool. Now let me give you another one. Cocoa farmers in Sejimase in the Buakwa South and Osino in Fantiakwa South have attributed the contribution that the continuous indiscriminate illegal mining activities and forceful takeover of cocoa plantations by illegal miners, popularly known as galamseyers, as a contributive factor to the decline in cocoa production in the country. Some farmers in an interview with Channel 1 TV disclosed that poverty and lack of commitment from the government drove them into selling their cocoa plantations to illegal miners. Sky will pay the price for this in many years to come. Enu Lawrence Yakufu lamented how she lost her cocoa plantation after her son sold it to illegal miners in her absence when she visited the regional capital for a medical checkup. Openyi Manotechi, an opinion leader and a former assemblyman for Sejimase, explained how activities of illegal miners had affected a total of 18 acres of his cocoa farm at 3 different locations. Now, Ghana cocoa output is expected to be the lowest, about 40% below target of 820,000 metric tons when global prices hit about $10,000 per ton. The situation is no different from Osino in Fantiakwa, where about 40 to 50% of cocoa plantations, 40 to 50% have been sold to illegal miners. About 70% of cocoa plantations have been lost to the mine. My question is, what is the government doing? We are talking as if there's no government in the country.
The Minister for Agriculture, which of them?
Cocoa is our 3rd largest foreign exchange earner.
Yes.
The way galamsey goes is not properly regulated. People are born in communities where this kind of mining is done with all kinds of problems. People are going to be eating food with all kinds of minerals in them. This is an ecological and national suicide we are committing.
They don't seem to care.
And we've been reporting on this for months.
Yes, not months, years.
I don't even... So what's the Minister of Mines? The Minister for Lands?
No, every day they are planting trees. There's hotel matter here.
Sky, almost every week, City Channel 1 will do a report from a cocoa community and they will tell you how their farm is being taken over. Not a word.
Yeah. It's sad, you know.
It is terrible.
It's sad.
It's terrible.
Sad.
It's terrible.
Meanwhile, we are told that revival of agri underway. Elvis Darko reporting for Accra says this morning a massive government sector. No, it's actually a massive government private sector program of change to how the country organizes production in the agricultural value chain to promote productivity is making great strides. Now, the key objective is to risk agriculture by developing lands to enable production of key commodities to reduce.
All right, let's do some labor stories.
So,
Sky, there are a number of stories around strike actions, which I just want to bring to you. On Citi News this morning, we're told that Clocksack have called a strike. You heard that story this morning over no condition of service.
Why are they
Then
going on
there's one called TATU.
Which one is that?
The Unionized Association of Tamale Technical University, TATU,
They are tattooing their body.
have succeeded in their demands for the appointment of an internal VC for the university less than 24 hours after issuing a strong statement.
That's
So
good.
don't forget there was something in tech as well,
Yes, that's
which
good.
was killed. Now this one has also been sort of controlled.
We need to hear from the Auditor General people too.
On what?
The way they are reappointing the retired guy. No?
Meanwhile, release our outstanding arrears NAPCO trainees to Baumia. So NAPCO trainees have urged Dr. Baumia, the flag bearer of the MPP, to fulfill his promise by settling the outstanding arrears. During his campaign in the Volta region June this year, the flag bearer pledged to pay the trainees 9-month arrears, which had yet to be fulfilled, prompting the group to demand action on his commitment. Now, the coalition of NAPCO trainees in a statement today, Monday, June 24, expressed their disappointment and frustration about Dr. Baumia's silence on his promise, which has spanned several weeks.
But Koku sent me a message and says that as for the Sipon Stadium, Charlie, you don't even want to see it because when you go there, you weep. Sipon, you know the Sipon Stadium we built.
But people should just do their work because, Kai, there are organizations like the National Sports Authority in charge of these facilities. So why do they allow the thing to rot?
I think we should surcharge people who are put in charge of running spaces like that and they presiding over the rot we see.
Yeah.
If there is a rot, we should surcharge
No
them.
culture of maintenance.
Exactly.
It's really bad. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Nathan.
Do you have a game-changing and innovative business idea or project that can impact the society? This is your moment. Total Energies presents the 4th edition of the Startup of the Year Challenge. This year, we are looking for 3 winners. The best entrepreneur, also called the InnovUp winner. The best project or innovative business idea that exemplifies the principle of recycling and minimizing waste, also called the Cycle Up winner. And the best project that promotes or relates to sustainable and affordable energies, also called the Power Up winner. And that's not all. 4 additional projects in the Power Up category will be selected by an international jury. Don't wait any longer. Apply at www.startupper.totalenergies.com for a chance to win financial support, professional mentorship, and a spotlight for your project. Terms and conditions apply.
Up in the morning, and you know the money calling. Oh, you go work, but you know it's out of your side. If I believe with us, if I hold my hand and believe, cause you know it's out of your side. And when you dream, no say I live by you. And when you hustle every day, anywhere I go, everything you do. Believe with us, fidelity. Oh, if I know I lay your side, fidelity.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
City Business News with Access Bank, Goyle, and MTN. Nashika is here with the news. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of the Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil and Access Bank. My name is Nashika Caesar. Coming up, government to curb food insecurity by reserving 5% of harvest from the Planting for Food and Jobs Program Phase 2. Also coming up, local manufacturers concerned as government indicates plans to ensure strict enforcement of the law on excise duty. And later, entrepreneurs admonished to adopt proactive management strategies to ensure their sustainability and competitiveness. Let's settle for the details of our stories now. The government is set to strategically reserve 5% of harvest from the Planting for Food and Jobs Program Phase 2 to curb food insecurity. According to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, construction of more warehouses is underway to accommodate the harvest. In an interview with Citi Business News, the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Bagbara Tanko, says the move is intended to serve as a buffer in the event of food crisis.
We, as you are aware, started some construction of warehouses across the breadth and length of the country, and the PFJ 2.0, some additions will be made, and the system, the rollout of PFJ 2.0 has just begun. So we are not even harvesting yet. So it is at the end of the harvest. So remember, it is an input credit system where aggregators will give inputs to farmers. You will not pay upfront, but the inputs are quantified in produce, so harvest. Then the government will take the produce with the inputs they gave you, and that produce is sent to the warehouse where all standards are followed to ensure that the food is of good quality. The grading will be done, and out of that warehouse, then we'll draw the 5% of the total produce received at the end of the season. And that is what will be set aside as national buffer.
Bagbara Tanko is a public relations officer of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Moving on, the Ghana Revenue Authority is being encouraged to expedite its process to ensure the full implementation of the Electronic Value Added Tax (EVAT) system to enhance transparency in tax administration. The GRA introduced the enhanced EVAT system under the Taxation Act 2018 Act 966 in October 2022 to optimize VAT revenue collection. According to the GRA, over 2,000 small and medium-sized taxpayers are expected to transition to the new system by the end of this year as a part of the second phase rollout. George Swansea Winful is the Director of Revenue Policy Division at the Ministry of Finance, and he's been speaking on the EVAT initiative.
We have rolled the EVAT to some few taxpayers or some few companies, and they feel that they are being targeted because others are not on the EVAT, and so they are able to play any game that they like to do. If we want to build trust, then we need to quicken our pace in implementing the EVAT to cover all taxpayers so that they will see some level of transparency. They will see that we are trustworthy and we promote an environment where there's even playing field for all taxpayers. These and many others are the surest way by which the taxpayer will have belief in tax administration and have confidence and be compliant as far as obligations for tax payment is concerned.
That was the Director of Revenue Policy Division at the Ministry of Finance, George Swansea Winful, speaking there. Now, local manufacturers are expressing concerns that their plight will be further compounded if the government goes ahead with the enforcement of the law on excise duty. The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, recently disclosed plans to strictly enforce the excise duty law that requires manufacturers of exportable goods to hold a bond or security. However, the General Secretary of the Ghana Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, Samuel Agri, believes the government needs to reconsider its position in order to prevent a further economic downturn. He spoke to Citi Business News.
If you ask them to sign a bond, and here comes a manufacturer sign a bond of producing almost about 1 million bottles a month, and it happens that because of power fluctuations and other unforeseeable tendencies that may arise. You are not able to produce that 1 million. How do you account for? What we need to do is to synchronize the system with the GRA portals. We can have both policy running side by side. Either we have the excise duty paid and then the stamps are not paid for, or we pay for the stamps and we waive the excise duty. Already looking at the excise duties that we are paying, it's so high that the manufacturer, coupled with the other taxes that we are paying, it's almost about 67% of the profit that they make being paid to government.
You had the General Secretary of the Ghana Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAC, Samuel Agri. Now, market women in the Ashanti region are lamenting the high prices of plantain, attributing it to farmers' inability to cultivate in larger quantities year-round due to a lack of funds and necessary resources. They are therefore appealing to the government to invest in plantain farming, emphasizing its importance as a major food item in the market. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Doris Lonta has more in the following report.
Plantain cultivation is vital in Ghana, especially in the Ashanti region, but it faces challenges like lack of funding, pests, climate variability, and transportation difficulties. These issues lead to inconsistent production and high price fluctuations, affecting affordability for many households. Market women at the racecourse market in the Ashanti region are urging the government to invest in plantain farming by providing subsidies, credit access, improved techniques, and better infrastructure to stabilize production and prices, ensuring plantains remain accessible. Some market women spoke with Channel 1 News.
Plantain is now very expensive. Today, I couldn't even find any to buy. The farmers say they do not have the funds to boost their activities, and the cost of labor is also very high. As a result, they are forced to farm in small quantities based on their strength.
The plantain business is what we are engaged in here at the racecourse markets. It's seasonal. There are periods when plantains are abundant and less expensive, but during this period, they are very expensive. Believe that if investment is made in the sector, it can help stabilize production and prices.
Now the price of a bunch of plantain ranges from 40 Ghana cedis to 100 Ghana cedis, but the price hike is not our fault.
In a bid to address the challenges, a senior research scientist, agricultural economist, and the coordinator for the Megawatt project at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has expressed concern about the excessive use of agrochemicals in farming due to an inadequate labor force, especially in the cultivation of plantains.
When we talk about agricultural machinery, we shouldn't think so big about the big tractors and all the other big things that are there, but we should focus on those motorized ones that are easily and affordable to the farmer. If we don't move in that direction, we are likely to get to a place where the productivity that we need to get from our farming, we won't get it. And secondly, too, we may not get it to be attractive to the youth.
That was Dr. Natson Eyuam Amega, a senior research scientist and agricultural economist at the CRICSIR, ending that report by our Ashanti regional correspondent, Doris Lonta. Finally, entrepreneurs within the SME space have been admonished to adopt proactive management strategies and principles to ensure their sustainability and competitiveness, according to coordinator of the MBA program for entrepreneurship and innovation at UPSA, Dr. Andrews Eyiku. This will help SMEs also meet the evolving needs of customers.
When you look at the strategic sales management, there are 4 C's I want to consider first: the cost, the customer, the convenience, and the communication. Okay. Anytime you are thinking about strategically selling anything, think about the customer. What are the customer needs? Secondly, think about the cost. What is the cost involved in delivering the services to the customer? The customer thinks about price when he thinks about cost. So strategically, How do I think about the various pricing channels? Am I using psychological pricing or scheming pricing to sell? The next one is convenience. Things are difficult and people want to enjoy the convenience of buying from you. So don't make it difficult. Are you accessible? And then finally, how are you communicating to them?
Speaking on the topic strategic sales management on the first day of the final week of the Citi Business Festival 2024 on-air series, Dr. Andrew Yiku also stated how small and medium-sized businesses can leverage the use of digital tools to grow.
The social media strategy is a strategic document that tells who you post to, on what channel are you posting, on what platform are you posting, and what content strategy are you going to use. So before you even post anything on your WhatsApp or on your Instagram, realize that on Instagram, people are interested in testimonials, short videos, something short. But so develop a social media calendar. Have a content strategy. When you have a content strategy, you don't wake up in the morning and just post that you are not well. One of the things also when it comes to content strategy now, that things are quite difficult, is to realize that you are not just selling, you are educating and advising customers. So know your awareness strategy.
Dr. Andrew Yiku is the coordinator of the NDA program for entrepreneurship and innovation at UPSA. The full conversation with Dr. Andrew Yiku on the topic strategic sales management is later this morning at 9 on the Citi Breakfast Show. The Citi Business Festival 2024 is powered by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV in partnership with Absa Bank and is sponsored by MTN Business, Gesell, AMG Fertilizer, and Sano Limited and Agri Impact Limited. Also, the Management Bootcamp begins today. It is a week-long residential executive education program for senior managers and businesses. Distinguished experts from diverse background and selected faculty of facilitators with a blend of rich academic and practical expertise will take participants through a wide range of contemporary management and strategic topics. And that's it for the breakfast edition of the Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle and Access Bank. My name is Nashika Caesar. Do have a great business day.
Beautiful people, we are live in town, soaking in the excitement about the partnership between Access Bank and PABS, revolutionizing the way people move money across Africa. Let's hear directly from those reaping the benefits.
It's a relief. Anytime I send money back home, my family receives exactly what I send them, instantly.
I'm studying in Ghana, but originally from Nigeria. With this service, my parents send my school and hostel fees directly, and they do it with so much ease.
I run a fashion business. Let me tell you, sending and receiving money across Africa without those annoying forex fees has really cut down our operational costs.
Benefit from instant payments across Africa with zero foreign exchange hassle. Visit our website www.ghana.accessbankplc.com or call our toll free on 0800 004400 for all your cross-border payments.
Pass it with Access Bank.
Access Bank, more than banking.
Good energy hits the road with exciting choices to energize your ride, giving you more options to take you further. Watch this space for your choice.
Goyle, yeah.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need
Now, if you're ready to pump your
let's get into kick off the latest from the world of sport, proudly brought to us by Shell, Lecheho, and Zondatech. In Swatramana, MTN FA Cup winners for the very, very first time, and we'll give you updates from the Euros as the group stages round up. And let's start off with the MTN FA Cup final. And it was a great event last night at the Legon Stadium, where Insuatreman and Tanabo Fakwa engaged in a Bono derby. In the end, after 1-1 scoreline, after 120 minutes, Insuatreman emerged winners in a 5-4 penalty shootout to clinch the MTN FA Cup for the very first time, and 180,000 cedis in prize money collectively. Insuatreman winning the biggest prize after holding off Bofakwatano there. Let's hear from the coaches who were involved. First, Bofakwatano's head coach Donny Driafo, and then Max Okonedu, who was the winning coach on the day.
That's one of those things. Both teams had a very competitive game, and just as I said in my earlier on submission, that the best team win. We took the lead. They came back strongly. We equalized the goal at the tail end. And you know, penalty is on everybody's game. And so we missed the chance. They took their chance. They have won. They deserve it. Because they are equally a better side. So they deserve it.
But would you blame your goalkeeper for that cheap goal he gave away?
One of the thing I would say is that good goalkeepers easily concede cheaper goals. They play together as a team, and we have lost it. It's one of those things.
For sure, I knew about one thing, that we would do well. But I didn't know that we would go this far. But for sure, I knew that I could transform. I know what I have. And when you believe in yourself, I think it's the beginning of everything. The self-belief did a lot. It motivated me to sign the contract for Insuatreman. I knew that we could do well in the league and the FA Cup, but I never thought we could win the cup.
Max Okonedu, head coach of Insuatreman. Before him, you heard Johnny Driafo, who's head coach of Tanabo Fakwa. Congrats to the people at Insuatreman. Our very good friend Eric Alajidede. Eric, congrats to you and the team. Let's stay with some football news, and the 2025 Women's AFCON, or the 2024 Women's AFCON, has been postponed to July next year. Now, there was a lot of uncertainty concerning when that competition will be played, but CAF announced over the weekend that the competition, which will be hosted by Morocco, will be played between the 5th and the 26th of July 2025. 2025. Remember that the AFCON has also been given a new date. It will be held in December 2025. It will run to January 2026. So those are some changes coming in. But to some athletics, and Rosa Mwenima, who is a defending champion and African Games gold medalist, she won Ghana's first gold medal in the women's high jump in the ongoing African Athletics Championships in Cameroon. Ghana sent an 18-man team and they are hoping to do big things there. And after Cameroon, Ghana will be hosting the championship in 2026. This was confirmed by Ghana Athletics in a post they put out on X, formerly Twitter, and the development comes in the lead up to Ghana's participation in this year's African Athletics Championship, which is happening in Cameroon. Let's go to the Euros now, and there were goals, and more goals over the weekend. And Nicolas Fulkrug, he managed to save the Germans and give them top spot in Group A as they drew 1-1 with Switzerland to qualify to the round of 16 as Group A winners. Let's hear from Germany's head coach Julian Nagelsmann, who was speaking through an interpreter.
Well, I didn't use this plan. We substituted, which was quite obvious, the substitutions. And we scored the equalizer. We wanted to play this cross like that, and at the end I think this point is well deserved. We risked a lot in this phase of the game because we could have conceded a second goal. By the way, we conceded it, but it was offside. But of course we had to risk a lot. It was a very strong group, very good match. I think we had 9-4 shots on goal, 158 of the one-on-ones. So I think it was very well deserved that we came back.
So that was Germany head coach Julian Nagelsmann speaking there. Later today, Albania will face Spain at 7 p.m. Croatia will take on Italy also at 7 p.m. The tickets for the round of 16 are running out very quickly, and so teams are hoping to get themselves in a place there. But whilst the Germans and the Swiss went through, Scotland, they crashed out of the competition. They lost 1-0 to Hungary in the Euros. We wrap up with some Formula One news, and it was a very, very, very good weekend for fans of Max Verstappen. He overcame the challenge of Lando Norris to win the Spanish Grand Prix and stretch his lead at the top of the F1 World Championships. For Lewis Hamilton, he finally ended his wait for a first podium in 2024 as he finished third. Things have not been looking too good for Hamilton, but this time he managed to finish third and get a place on the podium. And that's how we end this morning's edition of Kickoff, probably brought to you by Shell Lecheho and Zonda. My name is Nathan Kwame. Thanks for listening. There's more sports on citysportsonline.com. Join us in the day or during the day for more sports in our subsequent bulletins. And later tonight on Channel 1 TV, there's the Sports Roundup with Benjamin and Katie. I do have a fantastic day. Stay safe, take care, and bye-bye.
Different cars take different journeys. The strong ones build big cities that people thrive in. The agile ones take us to work there, so we can make a little chop chop. The dependable ones are always present in times of trouble. We salute what you do for Mother Ghana. The traditional ones
the song initially, it's not really working on the night shift. It's more being called to higher service on the other side. Oh yes, a song about death. Wow. Yeah. So it's about the Marvin Gaye and other musicians who had died, and that they were telling them that they know that you're working on the night shift. Yeah. Because when they talk about sleep, the sleep of death.
Make references, like you said, to Marvin Gaye, but to Jackie Robinson as well.
Yeah. So that's the song. Oh, so you didn't know what it meant?
No, I mean, I was just enjoying the song that you were talking about, workers who work.
So for people who've lost close ones. Now, a big one before we get into any birthday. Apologies for today. Today is what, June 24th?
Yep.
Yes. We were scheduled, hoping that we could bring you, of course, a Tech Monday. But because the business festival is on with a few other issues, we couldn't air it today. So for our loyal EdTech Monday audience, it will be bigger and better next Monday. Next Monday is July?
Yes, next Monday is what, July 1, I think?
1st July?
Yes. June has 30 days.
Wow, so we're bringing you EdTech Monday for June 1st July. Please forgive us.
Yes.
But it's going to be very, very exciting. Yes. Monday, the 1st of July.
Have one first and then at the very end as well.
You remember the topic for next week?
Yeah, we're going to look at AI.
Oh my God.
And learning.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Going to look at AI and learning. But I mean, like we said, it will be bigger and better next week. So hopefully,
AI and learning.
Yes.
Amazing. And the good thing is that next Monday is not a holiday. You know, holidays have changed, right?
Yes.
So up until 2019 or so, 1st July was always a holiday.
The Republic.
Yeah, but now the Republic Day is now 7th, or they call it Constitution Day, right?
January 7th.
Yeah, because of the 4th Republican Constitution.
Yes. Then we have August 4.
I still think we should have kept 1st July in addition to January 7th. I understand January 7th as a holiday because January 7th being the birthday of this constitution, which has lasted 30 something years, is fine. But 1st July being Ghana's transition from a colony, independent, into a republic, I still think we should have kept 1st July, but 1st July is no longer a holiday.
Well, some people argue that in essence it's because of the March 6th independence. So March 6th is already there. So why do you have...
Yeah, but you know there are countries that are independent but are still... They still bear allegiance to the king, so the queen. So for example, the king in this case, a lot of the Caribbean countries for long, Canada even, Australia and some of these countries. So whatever. So 1st July, Monday, we're bringing you EdTech Monday on AI and learning. Oh my God. Charlie, AI is doing some things in my life, Oscar. You know, AI is doing a lot of things in my life. I was talking to some people about AI can do a lot of things. So now, students and young people must focus on what AI cannot do. AI cannot smile. So smile at people.
Oh, you can actually.
It's not enough. AI can solve your problems if you give it the right prompts. AI can, but you need to initiate. All right. So I'm talking about in the concept of workplace. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're a worker, make yourself, how shall I put it? Build skills that cannot easily be replaced by a machine. So for example, your analytical skills can be replaced by a machine. So for example, you want to do a budget. I'm not saying don't learn accounting. You can still understand accounting and tell AI the right things to do. But warmth and things like initiative, all right? Some of the things which are more softer skills, the right brain activities that we tend to underestimate, I think will become more useful. I think it'll become teamwork. Teamwork is an important one. So if I'm hiring people, I want somebody who can work with other people. So there are some professions that people are very smart on their own. So like coding. There are people who are very gifted in programming and coding. A lot of those guys can work alone. But now if you're a coder or a programmer, I think being able to work in a team becomes more valuable. Because a lot of the things you can do alone, a machine can do it better. That's what I'm trying to say. So some of your deep coding things, there are so many programs that can be used to replace those things. But being a good team player, showing empathy, being able to what else? Finishing things on time. A lot of employees think only about their technical skills without thinking about their soft skills, right? But I feel soft skills are going to be more useful. You know, I mean, like even the work we do here. Let me make it very simple. You are very great in law, okay? So a lot of times when I need to understand something in law, I will ask you. Now I can ask a machine will tell me. But you see, the chemistry I have with you when you smile and come and laugh and things, those things, it will be difficult for me to prompt a machine to do it. Even though I know you will say a machine can do it. I don't believe it. Fine. A machine, I could ask a machine to tell me whether, for example, Ghana's 5G, I'm coming to the Minister of Telecom, I say, is Ghana's 5G deal, how does it align with all the major laws of contract? You can just do that for me in 2 minutes or in a minute, right? So technically, I can go into that interview with all that information, which you would have given me, or which I would have to read in books for weeks, all right? But when you come on, you know, I'm a teacher, give me fans. Those things, you know, those things cannot be replaced, you know what I'm saying? So, whilst you get your technical skills, also build your soft skills. That's my whole point. Happy birthday to a few people coming through this morning. And to our mother, Mrs. Millicent Kafui Siade Kuatinu. Wishing you long life, good health from your children, Esinam Selassie and Adoli. To Millicent Kafui Siade Kuatinu. Happy birthday to Hafsat Money. This is from your father, Issa. I'm not sure if that's your father or your husband, actually. I'm not sure. May Allah bless your new age from the entire family. I guess Issa is supposed to be your daughter. I'm not sure now. I'm confused. Issa Money. I suppose your daughter. Please wish our golden girl, Sally Akushika Ajokojo, a happy, glorious birthday. We pray for God's protection and long life all the days of your life. From your dad, George, your mommy, and siblings, we love you. Happy birthday to Mama Joyce of GCB Bank Head Office. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. From Chris and Deborah Sefa. I wish my husband, Mr. Kwame Jan, Community 23 Nest Site, a blessed and glorious birthday. May the Lord grant you long life with good health. We pray the Lord grant you the finishing grace as you lead his flock at the Glory Temple, Springs of Life, Chapel International, at Jekojo branch. From Nyamiche, Nyamiye, Aseda, and Kofi. We love you. You're the best dad in this world. From Mrs. Sechibia Jan. Happy birthday to Michael Edu Jemfi, aka Uberi AGM of State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA. You were 40 last Friday. May this age propel you to greater heights, and may you be fortified from God in Son of Access Bank.
Today is the birthday of Messi. Is it today or yesterday? One of them.
Of who?
Messi, the football.
Lionel Messi?
Messi.
Okay, I'll have to.
Yeah. It is. It's 10:37 today.
I see.
So happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday to Lionel Messi. Yes. Anyway, happy birthday to this one's happy birthday to our boss, Madame Mary and Okuno, Assistant Commissioner and Sector Commander of Customs in the Eastern Regions, coming from the entire team she works with. And this one you've done that already. We'll go through a few more that have come through on.
Yes, this one is a dedication to this coming from Bridget to her friend Amano, who we lost I think a month ago. Amano Mante, and I think the words of this song, "Do It." You are not alone. You're on the night shift. And commiserations to Jackie and the family. Jackie Asante Danso, my first boss.
Okay, and this one says happy birthday to the MD of Bethel AG, Francis Jesse Yeboah. God bless you. That's the message coming from.
I want to say good morning to Anne Shelley Ajigbolosu. This weekend I was at her church. She got married to her sweetheart.
Congrats to her.
Which one?
So Anne Shelley Ziwu is now Anne Shelley Ajigbolosu.
That's right.
From Ziwu to Ajigbolosu. Wow.
It was a beautiful wedding.
Congratulations.
At the, I think, End Time Revival Assemblies of God at Dental Housing Down. It was a superb event.
Oh, I see.
A big good morning to the pastor in charge and the team. It was a lovely event. So, Mr.
Congratulations. Yes, congratulations.
Wow.
And Shelley. Wow.
Yeah, and Shelley.
Congratulations. Let's take some more dedications coming in. This one says, "Good morning, Bernard and team. Glorious happy birthday to Priscilla Adjoa Amano." Oh, no, you did that. That was what you did, right?
No, I didn't do it.
Okay. Peak Lyceum Community 22. It says that continue to enjoy Lord's favor and good health. Mr. Amano and the children are celebrating you, and they say we love you so much. Good morning, CBS. Please wish a happy blessed birthday to Joseph Kweku Yankee. The good Lord will continue to bless you, and He will never forget you and your family. Stay blessed and have a good one. Enjoy the day.
We'll be speaking to Minister for Telecommunications and Digitalization, Esla Usu Ekufo, on a number of things, principally the 5G move. Obviously, we know that Next Gen Infraco, which is a consortium of about 5 companies, have been brought together to manage Ghana's 5G infrastructure for 10 years with various conditions. There were some initial issues raised. We'll ask her to clarify those. Generally, how is the telecom sector doing? Are you happy with the service you're getting? I want you to also send your questions, right? So we know that there's a significant market player. Are you getting good service? What's going to happen to some of the other smaller players like Vodafone and are now called Telecel and AT as well? So we're happy to hear from you on those. She's been Minister for Communications since 2017. So she's been in the sector for pretty long.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
so that's the only ministry she's handled.
So if you have any questions around service and all of that, internet prices, Starlink, when you call, I don't say something about one of my networks. I don't want to do them now, but for Sky for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've been doing it
for 2 weeks, the reception is not coming. I can still get WhatsApp because I use Wi-Fi data. I've not been able to make a call on that phone for 2 weeks.
That's wrong.
I've sent the number to my colleagues who work there, and Charlie, nothing.
You should file a complaint against them.
How do I do that?
Send it to the NCA. That these people.
And what will NCA do for me?
Of course, they investigate, and if there are sanctions that need to be applied, they would have to apply.
Don't you think it should be easier for them to just have a phone number that I can call? Sometimes it's long.
For the phone number.
Or if MCA can give me a phone number, say complaint number, so say because Charlie, if I have a complaint, I have to get a lawyer to write, send, post it. Have they received it? They'll call me. But Charlie, I don't have time. Honestly, I don't have that kind of time.
Okay, then just complain. Let's go.
No. What I'm saying is that if there was an easier way, so you see how.
Yeah, so you can send an email.
No, I want to text or call somebody.
Okay, you can find.
So if NCA give me a number, say, okay, if you have a complaint with your telco, just call. You see how these people do it. ECG. ECG. When you call, they will pick your call and then they will talk to you.
Okay.
Maybe NCA should have that. I don't want to mention the telco's name, but it's tough for me. So I just have 2 numbers. So the other one is working. But this one, so this second one, a lot of people call me on it. And yet I'm not able to receive. So they say I've been calling, it's not coming through. I've not even seen the call.
So
then when you take the phone, you see when you take the phone, you see the battery sign, the battery is on. The signal sign is on. But then this signal is not the signal sign. This sign which is on is the Wi-Fi sign. Okay. The signal sign is off. You see the signal sign is like this histogram, which is supposed to 4 or 5 bar charts. That sign has been off for 2 weeks. And there's a 0 with a line in the middle.
So which means you are not getting network signal.
Wow. For 2 weeks, I know they get. And you see, because I'm on air, I can't say it. It's like, you are trying to, damage them. But it's not right.
Okay, well...
it's not fair.
Okay, so if you go to the NCA's website, there's a procedure for filing a complaint there.
What should I do?
And then also, you can also file consumer complaints using the number. So, for instance, 0307 011 419. 0307 011 49 419. So let me take that again. 0307 011 419. Yes, so call them
with my other number.
Yeah, that's right. And lodge a complaint.
Is there compensation they'll give? Because for 2 weeks I haven't had access to my. Do you know how much money I've lost?
Well,
do you know that this is money being lost to me?
Well, pure economic loss, as far as I understand it in law, is not recoverable.
All right.
So, but you can make a case for some other things that the compensation that may be paid to you for whatever inconvenience has been caused to you. But the procedure is there on the website of the NCA,
Okay.
nca.org.gh. So if you're interested, please make sure that you go there and then you see exactly how it is done.
So I would ask the minister to comment on some of these things as well. I want to do a final one here.
Before you do that, though, there's someone who sent. Last week I spoke about how you can improve the quality of English you send out to people using your WhatsApp message.
Yeah.
So someone sent a message from Adoboy-Inla, says that Sky said the other day that you could insert your text in a blue signal now showing on our phone. Please, how do you go about it? So here's the thing. So if you open your WhatsApp messenger, you go to the very top of it. I use an iPhone. So to the left, you see 3 dots. If you open that, it will open an interface for you, select charts and all of that. But if you look to the right, the very first thing you will see is a search engine, sort of. It is looking...
Search?
Yes, it's like a search engine. So it is blue in color, right? That is Meta. After that, you see how to take a photograph. And then after that, you see a plus sign. The very first one, the blue one, that's what I'm talking about. So it has blue and some other... You
should do it on tech and social media trends.
So if you click...
Into my time.
No, just quickly. If you click into it, you see a message. So you open Meta AI, right? So whatever text that you want to send, maybe you are writing something, you want to polish the English, you want to proofread it.
So AI should not be sending text for us?
No, the person has already written his text.
Yeah.
He wants to ensure that it's properly edited so that he sends it to us for us to read. So feed it in there and ask the AI, Meta AI, to improve it for you, or proofread it or edit it. And then when you finish, copy it and send it to us. That's what it is. You can even write letters with it, do whatever thing you want to do with it.
Okay.
Kwame Jan has also sent me from the NCA a toll-free number that you can call if you don't have money to pay. 0800 110 622. This is a complaint line. 0800 011 622.
So I can call them?
Yeah, you can call them and complain to them.
But I've complained. They should take my complaint.
No. That's not a formal procedure. They don't act on the basis of just hearing someone say something on air. I think you would need to file a formal complaint.
All right.
And they will take it up.
All right. So those are some of the points. Final one before we get on. Apioko is wishing her dad a happy birthday, and I thought I need to do this quickly. So, Bernard, please wish a happy 70th birthday to Dr. Samoni Noya Shong. Today we celebrate the laurels that you have attained and the legacy that you have built. Above all, we thank God for your life and for the wisdom in giving, and for His wisdom in giving you to us. We love you. From your wife Maud Akosi Ashong and your daughters Apioko, Apiele and Kylie. Sorry. From your daughters Apioko, Apiele and Kylie, and your sons-in-law Duke, Nayo and Danny, and your 7 grandchildren.
Maybe so 7, yeah, correct.
So this is from the Apietus clan.
And this one says, wishing you a day filled with happiness. Rita Denchi Mockley from Daniel Owusu Charlotte, Forsen Abe, George Ankoma and Kofi Ewa, Thomas Emisa, Kakra Kumoji, and all your friends at Deloitte. They are celebrating you this morning. It's coming in from Nixon.
All right.
All right, let's get into some announcements quickly. Standard Water is your number one choice if you want good water to drink. Water is great for your system. It helps with some of the body functions. Call 020-2055-703-0547-334-385. Standard Water, Mifilio. Now, this mid-year, experience the perfect holiday getaway courtesy of your Zenith Visa card. Spend a minimum of 3,000 cedis in at least 5 transactions with your Visa card from Zenith and win an all-expense paid trip to the Olympic Games in Paris. Remember to visit zenithbank.com.gh to find out more. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. And talking about traveling, Global Wings Travel and Tours is taking all of us and those who are interested to Singapore and Malaysia between the 9th and 18th of September. Experience Kuala Lumpur, experience Singapore, and see the wonderful sights and sounds of the place. You can send a WhatsApp message to 0553 688 398 or 0550 188 181 or check them out on social at Global Wings Travel GH. First Atlantic Bank is telling you to join the Purple Experience and explore the future of banking, which comes with First Atlantic Bank, the digital bank of the year. Dial star 442 hash for all your bank transactions, or download the app from the Google Play Store, the First Atlantic Bank mobile app, and get to enjoy great banking. First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different.
The big question throughout the show today is, culture of maintenance is a very big word. Okay, but how do we keep things we have as Ghanaians? Why should, and I'm a Christian, okay, and I love church, but I don't think it's appropriate to award or allow a church to go and have a service in the Baltimore Sports Complex, especially around this. This is a new facility which cost us millions of dollars. Is that the right use of the facility? Now, I do know that, for example, UPSA, they have a hall, very good hall, and they rent it out to allow the place to keep itself. Okay, so under some conditions, they rent it out for events and they're able to regenerate it. But UPSA is a hall for events. The Baltimore Auditorium, I haven't been there, so I don't know how the place is. But those who've been there tell me it's a multi-purpose facility.
Yes.
And of course, I'm not saying the church people there did anything wrong with the place. But I don't think it sends the right signal to start renting out that place for a church service this soon, this quickly. You get the point? It suggests, it's another facility. The amount of money spent on that thing and what it's supposed to be used for. Obviously, a church service is not one of them. So we need to do something about this.
Yep.
And if you look at the way sports facilities have deteriorated in Ghana, I'm quite disappointed that they allowed that to happen at this stage, honestly. But let Nathan finish what he's doing before I deal with that matter.
Yes. Quite quickly, Def Traco Woodlands is your escape from the hustle and bustle of the big city. It covers a space of 592 acres. They've got service plots. They've got great homes in a self-sustaining community, and you get to enjoy amazing amenities and wonderful features of the place. Call 0208 732 302 or visit woodlands.deftraco.com. And Pepsodent is urging you to get the Pepsodent Cavity Fighter. It's strengthened with profluoride and microcalcium ingredients and is good for your teeth. It will leave your teeth 10 times stronger than before. It's recommended by the Ghana Dental Association. Always remember to brush your teeth twice a day. Pepsodent, every smile matters. Now, for the foodies, I have wonderful news for you. The GOAT of all buffets is here with a hat trick. Chicken Grill is bringing you 3 days of all you can eat customized buffet for 100 cedis only each day. Chicken Grill buffets are customized. You can sit down, comfortably order your meals that are prepared from scratch. Call 0533-615-069 to enjoy 3 days of great food from the 29th of June to the 1st of July 2024.
A lot of people are telling me that, or a number of people are telling me that the issue with my phone could be from the device itself. But why I don't believe this? Okay, fine. I have put the phone on and off a few times. I haven't taken the chip out yet. But my boss also complained about the same thing on the same network.
Then there's a problem.
You see, so whilst maybe I have to take the chip out and put it in a new phone, some man was telling me when I told him, he said he thought he was the only person that to his phone, he's not been getting network. So, and we use different phones. Okay, this phone is on a Samsung. This is a Samsung, and he uses a different phone. So I'm not sure if it's, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to over dramatize this matter, but anyway, we'll see. Somebody asked me to check my settings. I have not put the phone on invisible. It's on normal mode. I've not put it on do not disturb. I have not.
Okay, so somebody says, hello, I'm reaching out about the same issue that Aloski is facing, which has been giving my wife a headache as well. We've tried changing phones, but that didn't work. I suspected the problem was with the SIM card. She had to wait over the weekend and Monday holiday before we could access a store where she was advised to purchase a new blank SIM card. And her number was successfully transferred to it. It's coming in from Sami in Adenta. So it looks like this thing is not happening in isolation. Some other people may be facing your problem as well.
I'm getting another update on the Boteman story from a reliable university source.
Mm-hmm.
Bernard, he said the story we read about the Boteman thing, they didn't rent the place for a church activity. Rather, UGSRC, we are told, went there for a tour. And then they decided to do their church thing there. That's what the person is telling.
The people put what do you call it, banners and things there. You are saying I don't know.
This is what they, this.
No, did you see the video? They put banners.
This is somebody from the university who says that they went there for a tour and decided to do their church things there.
That
you don't believe that?
I'm not saying I don't believe, but you see the circumstances of what they did. If you look at the videos,
yes,
the people sent banners and things. So unless they were going for a tour, they carry their banners and all the things showing that this is the particular church that I don't want to mention the name of the church that was supposed to be there. Now, then this one is somewhere. Somewhere. I'm not disputing what you say.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the facts suggest something else.
In the meantime, after 9 a.m. this morning, we will be bringing you day 1 of week 4 of the Citi Business Festival. And today I'm speaking to Andrews Ayuku. He is a lecturer at the UPSA. He's also the coordinator of their MBA in Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And we're talking about strategic sales management for SMEs. Strategic sales management. Everybody wants to sell. So we'll do that after 9 this morning. But are you a business, or as a business, you've always explored innovative ways to maximize your operations and foster growth in today's dynamic environment? We know that no great story was ever written alone. With a little help from ABSA Supplier Finance Program, you can pay your suppliers early so that you pay later, and you can extend your payment terms without compromising your supplier relationships. By optimizing your working capital, your suppliers will also benefit from early access to funds, enhancing their financial stability and cash flow. Visit absa.com.gh or speak to your relationship manager today for more details on the ABSA Supplier Finance Program. This Eid season, the celebrations go beyond fasting, and from June 5th to 24th, Samsung is offering you great deals to capture your spirit, the spirit of the occasion, with 100 CDs and 150 CDs of Galaxy A05 and the A15 phones respectively. You get so much more for less. So go to any authorized Samsung shop and save big. Samsung wishes you a happy Eid. Now, if you're a company looking to expand your reach in Ghana's educational sector, then exhibit at Educate Ghana 2024, the country's leading international education exhibition, and connect with industry leaders and prospective business partners. Exhibit at Educate Ghana and boost your brand awareness, connect with key stakeholders, and generate new business leads. Secure your spot today at a 30% early bird discount before 28th June. It's on the 16th to the 17th of September at the University of Professional Studies, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. You can also contact Mr. Solomon Lodo on 0540 130 443. That's 0540 130 443. Or go to solomon.lodo@ghana.ahk.de for more information about Educata Ghana. Educata Ghana. Tech and Social Media Trends is next. Is brought to you by Telecel. You have everything you want and need: quick and reliable communication, stress-free money transactions, and transforming your big business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Connect with Telecel and enjoy a world of endless possibilities, because with Telecel, there's no limit to connections. Telecel, connecting energies. Also brought to you by FBN Bank, which is now First Bank Ghana. Yes, stay tuned and discover the new and exciting ways we're putting you first. First Bank Ghana is part of the First Bank Group. That's 130 years strong. First Bank Ghana, you first. So straight into the trends for the morning. Nathan has them for us.
All right, let's get into the trends. We start off with hashtag MTN FA Cup. Yesterday was the final of the 2024 MTN FA Cup, and it was won by Inswatreman. They beat Tano Bofakwa in the Bono Derby 5-4 on penalties. The game ended 1-1 after 120 minutes. So congrats to Inswatreman. They walked away with 80,000 cedis as their prize and another 100,000 to help them prep for the CAF Confed Cup.
Nice.
Staying with football, the name Varga is trending. Barnabas Varga, Hungarian player who collided with the Scottish goalkeeper yesterday in the Scotland-Hungary game. He was unconscious and had to be stretchered off.
I hope he's alive.
Yeah, he's fine. The word from the Hungarian FA as of last night around 10 p.m. was that he was stable and he was being assessed. It was a very, very troubling situation.
It was good they won that match yesterday. At
Yes.
least. It eased the
stress and the emotion. And I commend the TV broadcasters. As soon as it happened, they turned the cameras away and they focused on the crowd. So they did not give us images of the stretchers coming on and all of that. It was really commendable. The organizers did really, really well. Staying with football, Lionel Messi, Richard, like you said, it's his birthday today. People are celebrating Lionel Messi and all the great things he has done in football. Some accounts are listing what he has done: 8 Ballon d'Ors, 7 FIFA Best Awards, 6 Golden Boots, 1 World Cup. It goes on and on and on and on. Lionel Messi celebrating a birthday there. On the pop culture side of things, the name Chioma is trending. Why is Chioma trending? Chioma is now Davido's fiancée, his longtime girlfriend. They are set to be married, so they are going to be married very, very soon.
I see.
So David Adeleke, aka Davido, will soon be married to.
Congratulations.
Yes. So congrats to them. Let's do some tech news, and Apple has a slight problem on its hands. Now, recently, its sales in China started to grow, and in their most recent exhibition event, they said they were going to add AI or ChatGPT to the features of their handset. But there's a problem. ChatGPT is heavily regulated in China. So Apple now needs to figure out how to go around that hurdle. Now, China is one of the first countries in the world to regulate the generative AI technology that powers these popular services. And the Chinese cyberspace admin or administration of China saying that people should come and get proper approval before adding AI or generative AI to devices there. So Apple needs to figure out what they want to do if they want to score big sales in China. What they plan to do in other parts of the world is incorporate the AI thing into their new phones, but they need to clear the Chinese hurdle first before it will work there. So that's the big headache for Apple this morning as they try to roll out more AI into their devices.
Going up? Yes. After you. No.
Pastries. For many years, she's always had a small shop. On my way to work today, I passed by a shop and she's upgraded to deliveries. All it took was a conversation with Absa and she got a collateral-free loan of up to 500,000 CDs with a 10% annual interest rate, best rate on the market today. So for budding entrepreneurs seeking the next chapter in their stories, visit Absa branch to speak to someone to help guide you on your journey. Because at Absa, every story matters. And the new order of retirement is now here. You can retire on your own terms with a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. Simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and start receiving monthly income to enjoy the perfect retirement. It's that easy. The best part is you get to enjoy salary increases 16% in 2023-24 as well. Call Old Mutual 0504 53 43 33. That's 0504 53 4343, or visit oldmutual.com or simply dial star 789 star 01 hash to request a call. Or Brapa Ahuntonkwa.
Now, if you are seeking advanced medical treatment abroad, you need to remember that it doesn't have to be stressful and overly expensive. Nexus Global Services can lead you to over 100 top hospitals and doctors in Turkey to experience high quality care at unbeatable prices. It doesn't matter what the issue is. If you speak to them on 0539659259, they will help you out. You can also visit their office at Crisport Hospital in Domi Park, or visit their website nexusgsl.com.
All right, so we're jumping into our next conversation shortly, but don't forget that after 9 we'll also bring you our first in our 4th week for the business festival. We're talking SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, and of course that's with Dr. Andrews Ayiku. Dr. Ayiku is a lecturer at the UPSA Business School. He also happens to be the coordinator of the MBA on innovation and entrepreneurship. Even before she comes, people have started sending questions. They say, Minister of Telecom is here. Bernard, my questions for your minister, our minister. Of late, when I do Momo remittance via remittance apps, my name doesn't appear on the recipient side. So I have to inform them of the said remittance. Is that normal? Number 2, we are told by the minister during the SIM registration that it was going to prevent Momo fraud. But we are still experiencing Momo fraud. What is happening? The cost and quality of data and calls in Ghana is very expensive, especially on roaming. What is the ministry and the NCA doing about this to enable the use of those services by citizens in this digitalization process? This is a long one from Yao. But there is also the MP for Ablekuma West. And she did an interesting launch over the weekend. Tesla Uso Kufol is our guest, looking all spiffy. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
How are you doing?
I am doing great, by His grace.
You appear and disappear. So it's like
you're
in your appearance season. Your ministry comes in the news and then goes quiet and comes back again.
We are working.
I think June has been a big week, for a month for your ministry. 5G was a major thing for you. Major thing. But you've been at the ministry since 2017.
Yep.
Didn't you want a new job? Aren't you tired of this ministry?
It's one of the most exciting places to work because there's something new every day.
Is it?
Something new every day.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
For a lawyer, we thought you want something else, to try something else to do.
Well, I'm game.
You're game. Anyway,
whenever
this is the 11th hour and you are not touched. So your minister was not touched.
Whenever they are, that must be a sign that they're happy with the appointing authority is happy with my performance at the ministry. We've done quite a bit of work.
What was the president's remit to you? What did he tell you, at least on the second round? What did he ask you? What did he want you to do in the ministry?
To deepen our connectivity, work to extend connectivity to as many unserved, underserved places, communities as possible, to focus on consolidating our digitalization drive. And that's why he added digitalization to the portfolio. That it appeared we were implementing initiatives and without any formal structure to guide and regulate the process. And so I should take up that mantle, and I think it's gone pretty well.
It's going well?
Yeah.
How do you assess yourself? What metric do you use?
I have, I lived in Japan for a bit.
Really?
And one of the things that most companies do is to have a checklist and tick it off. It may seem simple, but at least if you give yourself a to-do list and you tick it off, then you know that you're making progress. So far, I think I am almost done with my checklist in the ministry. There are just a few things that are
left
still outstanding. There is a lot of work to be done there, but you can't do everything in 8 years. It's not possible. So you give yourself targets and work towards achieving those targets.
When you look at the mobile telecommunications sector, in terms of competition, penetration, accessibility, affordability, are you satisfied that Ghanaians are getting good quality, basically the 3 A's: access, affordability, availability?
That's a challenge everywhere, not just in Ghana. And it is a subject we constantly discuss in international fora and look at ways in which we can improve access, make it more affordable, and what's the other A?
Accessible.
Accessible
and then available.
Available, yes. So it's something that we're constantly working on. And one of the key issues that have been flagged are the affordability of devices, the cost of data, and the cost of even availability of the service. And so the conversation is coalescing around digital public infrastructure, where the government relaxes its spectrum demands, spectrum payment demands, and gives companies flexible payment regimes for spectrum, and works with the industry in terms of a partnership. So what can government do to facilitate? It's a largely private sector-led industry, but government regulations can accelerate or impede their progress. So that's one of the key asks from industry, that government partners them. And that's why we have started since 2020 now. Yeah, I keep saying 2020 with the rural telephony project, which is a shared infrastructure, and it's going quite well. And so government has paid for the rollout, or is paying. I can't say we've paid, we still owe. We're paying for the rollout of the infrastructure. And the network operators are providing service on that. Government is also paying for the operational cost of it as well, because there are areas in this country where they will ordinarily not go. In their estimation, it's not commercially viable. But every part of this country needs to be connected, as much of the country needs to be connected as possible to high-speed broadband, and there is a critical imperative for that. It helps grow the economy. It helps energize the neighborhoods. Now, when we started on this, the capacity on the rural telephony network was provisioned low, because the assumption was that there wouldn't be much usage. But the learnings and the experience from it is, once the site goes live, capacity is used up very quickly. It means even though they'll be topping up in small bits as compared to the commercially viable centers, they still use it. And so everywhere the network goes, it is used. And so we've had to reprovision capacity on it to ensure that they have adequate service. So that's one of the means in which we're expanding.
I want you to expand on that, but there was a time in which the sector was seen as very competitive. I remember when Glo was about to come in, everyone was talking about Glo's entry and what it would do. Vodafone at the time was also doing pretty well with the landlines and the rest of it. There was also Airtel, there was also Tigo, there was even Kasapa. These days, MTN is almost like the giant. Right?
It is a monopoly.
Yeah. And somehow Glo, we don't seem to hear of them much more. Airtel and Tigo have merged into AT, and then Vodafone is now Telecel. They seem to be struggling. Would you say it was government policy that led to this market structure? Because you made allusions, for example, to the spectrum that was sold, or was it just pure competitive dynamics? What do you think accounts for the way the market has panned out?
It's a combination of factors. Government policy has contributed to it. The investment decisions of the companies have also contributed to it. And so, but it's a fluid industry. Vodafone now, but Ghana Telecom was the dominant operator for many years.
Yeah.
And when MTN came in as Spacephone
and
Ariba, yes, they were the number 3 on the market, because Tigo then was the dominant player in the mobile services market. So it's a fluid industry, and it largely depends on the investment decisions that you make. It's a capital intensive industry. But one key thing that government did, which has backfired on us and helped create this virtual monopoly. You don't blame MTN for taking advantage of circumstances to grow their business. And I keep saying they shouldn't be punished for taking risks when they did. But government sold spectrum to local operators to do broadband data services on the understanding that they would be giving exclusivity in that space, while the mobile network operators did voice and then procure data services from them if they wanted to give those data services to their subscribers. After having done that, quite a few of them came up onto the market: the Surflines, Telesols, Broadband Home, Busy Internet. All of them came onto the market and invested. And it is, like I said, a capital. It's expensive to roll out the infrastructure on which to deliver those services. After promising them exclusivity, then we went ahead to auction the 4G spectrum to these same big players who MTN then acquired the spectrum. And of course, it has so much more a stronger financial muscle than these local entities do. And so they cornered the market. Now, at the time of the spectrum, it was offered to all network operators of the auction. It was offered to all network operators in the country. Only MTN
was able to purchase
at
the price, or
at the price. At the price it was pegged that only MTN purchased it at the time. The others figured they could continue to offer 2G, 3G services. But that has made it possible for them to corner the high-speed data market and blown the rest of them out of the water. As a consequence of that, even when the others decided that they would take up 4G, it was as if the horse had bolted. Because those who would give you the capital to acquire the spectrum and to roll out the network looked at the nature of the Ghanaian market and said, you have a virtual monopoly. I mean, how am I going to get my money back if I give it to you? You will struggle. So even raising capital for the others has become a challenge. So it's incumbent. We can't allow, it's not good for our country in so many ways in terms of competition. We had some challenge with the voice services of MTN this past week, but most people don't have any alternative, so you're stuck with it. It's not good for the country in terms of the way in which all economies are evolving and the need for data to conduct all businesses that we require, internet access to conduct all businesses that are operating. I mean, anywhere no matter which sector you're in, you need some amount of internet access to be able to do your work. So all those were factors that led to the decision that we've taken not to auction 5G, but to provide a shared infrastructure for all the network operators and even new entrants to utilize.
So the position is that there's an admittance that the route you used in the 4G contributed to the market structure. So you're using the new route in the 5G to try and correct that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Which means that your objective beyond bringing value to the customer is also to correct what you consider market distortion.
That will also bring value to the customer. So it's a multi-pronged approach. Now it's also in response to the industry call for digital public infrastructure. It's also in response to the industry call for changing spectrum policy and using that as a tool to accelerate the growth of the sector, instead of auctioning it and collecting your money up front and not caring whether they can roll out speedily or not. You know, so this initiative is an answer to the challenges that we face as a country, the call of the industry in international fora, which includes our network operators as well, at the GSMA level and all of that. That's a constant conversation. At the ITU level, it's a constant conversation that we're having. There's another one that we're looking at. I don't know if I should throw that in here now.
Why not? You're already on air. You've already given us a hint. Just go ahead.
You know, social media networks, all these tech companies are utilizing the networks of the mobile network operators to deliver their services to subscribers without contributing to the development of that network. So that's a conversation that has also been ongoing for the entire 8 years that I've been in this sector. How do we get these over-the-top operators, these OTT operators, which ride on this infrastructure, to also contribute to the expansion of that network?
But I thought Google had built some network. They are one of the biggest.
So in response to that, they built or formed consortia to build subsea cable networks to deliver their content to the continent. And then they go into arrangements with local operators to see how they can also expand that network, their services to the rest of their subscribers in country. But that's not enough. After bringing your content to our shores, how do you deliver it? In which networks are you going to deliver it? And how do you contribute towards the growth of that network? Google is part of a consortium that has set up C-Squared, and that's a wholesale fiber network. So it's not just contributing to, they're also, it's intended to be a revenue earning mechanism. But they need to do more. And so that's the conversation that we're currently,
so this will
ongoing.
Include Facebook and also Twitter and all these guys.
All those tech companies, big tech companies, all of them.
But just back to the point around the market structure, whilst you've admitted that MTN invested, some would say that why didn't Vodafone, for example, spend a bit more? Because they had a historical advantage with the fiber to home, I think they call it. And they were doing pretty well. So, and again, some even say that the government did not sort of put its money where its mouth is when it comes to the Vodafone investment. So some of the challenges that Vodafone now tell itself faced can be blamed on lack of investment, some of which can be attributed to the table of government.
But the management of the company was in the hands of Vodafone at the time, not government. Government was on their board. But they were managing the company. And I'm saying that their investment decisions also contributed to the situation in which they find themselves now. I'm not blaming them. At the time, it may have made sense to them to want to focus on the 3G that they were delivering. But they chose not to participate in the auction at the time that it was made available to all of them.
Maybe they didn't have enough money.
Maybe they didn't have enough
money. Because we're told government didn't put forth your 30%. A lot of times when there's need for money, the government doesn't contribute.
It could have been. I mean, if there's an equity, there's a cash call on equity or equity contribution required. But there's so many mechanisms that the government at the time, and I've read some of the initiatives that they put in place to support the company. But if you take the decision that you're going to do it, you look for the investment to do it. whether your equity partners do so or not. What about you, the 70% equity owner, shareholder? You know, so they took the decision not to join the auction. Same with Airtel and Tigo at the time, but that was the turning point in the development of the sector, and that has directly led us to where we are. But I'm not one for lamenting. This is where we find ourselves. That's the situation we find ourselves in. What can we do to reset the industry?
So fair enough. So this new 5G approach is shared. There are, I think, 5 companies: Nokia, Tech Mahindra. I think there's Radisys.
There will be more.
KNet. Oh, there's more.
There will be more once the discussions are completed.
All right. Will MTN be involved at any point?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because the impression was created initially that because this was to correct the market distortion, they would not be part of it.
No. I don't know who created that impression. Somebody threw it out there, and nobody spoke to me or any of those involved in putting this consortium together before throwing this false alarm out there. It's not true.
So you can say on record that they will be?
Absolutely. I said discussions are ongoing.
So that will mean they'll own part of the next gen infraco?
All network operators in the country are being offered the opportunity to take up equity in this next gen infraco. All of them, including MTN.
I see. So that means that just a matter of time. But have they expressed interest? Have they said to you they'll do it?
They've definitely expressed interest.
Because some feel like if they are not part, it will be tough as well because they've invested a lot in 4G. And since obviously 5G is the next level, some of the companies involved like AT and Vodafone may not have had the level of investment of MTN. So for all of us as an industry, it's good to have MTN to be part of that. But
that has always been the plan. Now, this next gen infraco is going to do nationwide 4G and 5G as well. It's not just 5G. It's going to do nationwide 4G as well to provide a platform for any entity which also wants to utilize that infrastructure to deliver their services. But
that would be difficult for MTN to agree, don't you think? Because if I'm already doing 4G, there's a company that's coming, consortium, to do both 4G and 5G. They are competing with me on one hand, and yes, we're going to work together on the 5G.
They are all competing against each other.
So you don't see a problem there?
I don't see a problem in there. Now, if their network is congested and they need additional capacity, they can also fall on this to provide them with that capacity to extend their services to other parts of the country. That's what is meant by digital public infrastructure. So I don't see why that should be a deal breaker for them. It's added value to them.
Was lack of interest in terms of people not having enough money one of the reasons why we agreed to make them divide the payment? Because I'm told that they pay 6.5 million, I think today, 24th June, so maybe by tomorrow, and then it sort of spreads either specific percentages of their profits or specific amounts over a 10-year period, as against the upfront payment for the 4G that was done in the previous round.
I told you that one of the asks of the industry in most of the conversations that we've been having at both national and international fora is for government to use spectrum policy to grow the sector. All of them would much rather invest in rolling out their networks and spreading the payment for the spectrum over time than in paying upfront for it, because that takes money away from the growth of the network. Now, for government, for the companies as well, we have a shared interest in expanding connectivity. So how do we work together to make that happen as quickly as possible? Now, even for existing network operators, the NCA has flexible spectrum payment terms for them. Even now, as we speak. So it's not just Next Gen, which is being given flexible payment terms. Both it's only MTN that can afford to pay upfront for it. So for those who've asked for payment terms, they have been giving those payment terms. And it's that same thing that was extended to Next Gen, so that instead of paying upfront for the spectrum, you roll out the network within the shortest possible time. And they've indicated that within the next 3 years, they'll be able, in fact, by September, the first 5G sites will go live. And within the next 3 years, they'll cover 80% of the country with high-speed broadband. I mean, that will make Ghana one of the most connected countries on the continent, if not the world. And that would open up a lot of opportunities for everybody around the country. So it's a deliberate policy in response to industry requests to do that. I was having a conversation on the sidelines of one of our meetings with the UAE regulator. And that's what the discussion was about, because that's where the whole world is going. Now, there's a saying in Akan that yes, you collect your money up front, and then what? You don't care about the network rollout. I do. And I told you one of my charges that the president gave me was to ensure that we connected this country, expanded connectivity to as many parts of the country that don't have it as possible. And so this is one of the ways in which we think we can extend high-speed broadband connectivity to 80% of the population.
Should we manage expectations in the sense that the 4G rollout, at least when I checked the last NCA data, we are told it's around 30%. So again, if 5G is the next level to 4G, some people feel like we don't even have enough 5G compliant devices. So the 80% may be ambitious, and that you want to ensure that even the 4G is available in as many places as possible before you now start expecting 5G. What are your thoughts around that? The fact that even 4G, we are not even 50%, that I'm sure of.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now it is availability and usage are two different things. Usage around the country is about 15%. So to make it available to people to use is around 15%, even though the data may show that it is there. How many people are using? I told you that one of the factors against we have a low usage, as low as 30% in many parts of the country, even where the service is available. Just about 30% of the people are using it. So one of the issues is affordability of devices.
Devices, they can't pay for, they don't have the devices that can even get them to use it.
Yes, affordability of devices. So as part of this arrangement that we're having with Radisys as well, they are going to provide us with affordable smartphones. And I have seen $20 smartphones. I've even seen $10 smartphones, but that's the production price. To get it to market, it will go a bit higher. But even if we can get it for $50, and it does everything that your iPhone does, that's a plus. Preloaded with all manner of applications that people in our part of the country will find useful. That's a plus. We are insistent that this shared network also extend 4G connectivity, because most people would use 4G rather than the 5G. 5G would be for specific use cases or individuals who actually need it. Specific industries located all around the country would be interested in high-speed connectivity to do their work. It will enable us to have smart cities, smart transport grids, smart traffic lighting systems, which can do multiple things, including providing Wi-Fi as well. So we have a lot in mind, yes. And so we need that to enable that happen. But more people will use 4G as individuals than 5G, and that's fine. So for those sectors that need the 5G, why not? We need to make it available. We can't wait and be left even further behind. Even as we speak, 5.5G, 6G is being developed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you are confident that the partners will be able to build the infrastructure, will raise the resources to build the infrastructure that is required for the network to operate?
They're doing so as we speak. Now, we have infrastructure in country. So it's not going to be a totally greenfield operation, building up from the ground. So they're going to utilize that. Some of the partners are contributing infrastructure, some are contributing cash for this to work. So we're confident that they'll be able to meet their network rollout timelines.
Government is holding 7.5% shares in NextGen Infraco. Some people think that's too small for something as strategic as 5G. Is there any reason why we are owning only 7.5% of this?
Yeah. I think our attitude towards government properties isn't the best. You were talking about maintenance when I was coming in. I was listening to you. And so let this be a pure private sector operation. And let government just have a carried interest in it, small percentage, which will also ensure that we get dividend payments over time. If they're leasing government infrastructure or public infrastructure to utilize for the network, they will pay for the use of those assets. So there are multiple revenue streams that come to government from this network. And 7.5 may look small, but government isn't in the business of running telecoms companies. Let's leave it to those who are best suited to do that. And we think that this share is adequate, particularly since we are not paying for it.
By the way, do we still have any shares in 80? Who does 80 belong to? Is it a Ghana company?
80 is 100%.
100% owned by government.
Yes, but 100% of 0 as against 10% of 100 are two different things.
So since 80 and Telesol will be part of the consortium, government indirectly also would control parts of the 5G infrastructure beyond the 7.5? Is that how we have to look at it?
That's the thinking of it. But government is actively looking for partners to take up the shares in 80.
So you're using this 5G to also bait people to say, beyond what they have, there's a 5G.
Bait people.
Maybe let me use the right
strategic decisions.
So you're hoping that there will be some investor interested in injecting money into 80 on the basis of this new arrangement because of the prospects of 5G.
We have a fair amount of interest in 80.
So we own
some have already been indicated. Some are now expressing interest in it.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to understand the landscape. So government owns 30% of Vodafone, right? 30, and then we own 100% of 80.
Yeah.
Good. But do we own any shares in MTN?
No.
Did we miss a trick there? Because I remember they went on the stock exchange. And this is a few years ago. Seeing how big they become and how important they are, did government miss a trick by not purchasing some shares in that company?
I wasn't the minister at the time.
Where? I thought you were. When did MTN? I thought you were.
It's part of their license, 4G license obligations to offload, I think it was 25% of their shares to local participation. So it's part of their license.
Are these are more local private investors who went?
Yes. So they went to market and ordinary citizens acquired shares in it. Pension funds acquired shares in it. But
why didn't government buy shares in MTN? It would have given you a stronger. I mean, this is the sector is a very.
Why should government be owning shares in?
So that when they make dividend and they are paying back in dollars, we will not lose money and our currency will not depreciate. Because when all these big companies who are all foreign owned pay dividend in March, the currency just goes down because all the money goes back to shareholders.
Siphoned out.
Yes. So it's strategically, even from a currency management perspective, it may make sense to invest in profitable large foreign companies.
Well, we want government to create the enabling environment for them to continue to be profitable. And that generates income and develops our economy generally. And I think the tax income and all of that, but I'm not an economist. So from my layman's mind, I think that government should get out of running businesses or owning shares in businesses.
There have been a comparison to India where we're told that after lots of money spent in the 5G, the telcos are not getting the return. And that may affect, and by the way, I'm told one of the two leading foreign companies is an Indian company, which has also rolled out 5G. That with a huge market like India, the monetization of 5G has been a challenge.
But I told you that 5G for now is for specific use cases. And one of the interesting bits of this transaction is that Nokia, Tech Mahindra will be setting up, how do I put it? Not maybe laboratories or something to develop 5G use cases for Africa. It's useful in agriculture, in the transport sector, in the mining sector, in the energy sector, in management of our ports. So there are specific industries that will be interested in high-speed connectivity, 5G. But whether it will be mass market is a new technology, relatively. And I think it's just over 100 countries currently have it. And so it's still developing. And it will be more relevant as time goes on, as more and more of these sectors are energized and use it more. And that's why we're insisting that 4G should be rolled out. For the mass market, currently, 4G would be more utilized than 5G. But there is a huge potential for 5G, as I said, in developing smart networks, smart grids, smart transport systems, smart cities, helping us manage our environment better. Even our legal and illegal mining sector can benefit from an infusion of technology in there as well. So there are users for it, but it won't be as mass market as 4G.
We're told one of the reasons why devices are expensive is taxes. Is there a tax solution, or are you thinking of using a tax incentive to lower the price of devices, which will then make the usage better, since you've admitted that even though the network may be there, people don't have the devices and therefore the usage is low? Is that something you're considering?
Absolutely. I've had conversations with the finance minister. I think currently there's a 20% tax on devices, which I think is too high. And so when the process, I indicated at the time when we're doing the SIM registration that we'll set up an equipment identity, a central equipment identity register as well, which will collate the triplets, the phone number, the IMEI, and the IMSI. I forget what IMSI is. Every device has unique numbers. So once you connect to your device, your network knows that this device is live. And that's why they tell you, send you messages to activate certain products on the or apps on your device to connect to their network. Once that's done, we will know the device, and so there's quite a fair bit of smuggling in of devices without paying the requisite taxes because it's high, and there's an incentive to bring it in without paying the taxes. So my conversation with GRA, the former commissioner, and the finance ministry is that with this equipment identity register, you would have visibility over all devices that are customed and uncustomed. Currently, they are collecting just about 30-40% of the tax that they should on devices because it's high, so people are smuggling it in. So once this network is up and running, now the main purpose is not for tax purposes, but that's the another added advantage for this CEIR. We can lower the taxes to like 10 or 5%, which will enable more people be compliant than they are. So at the end of the day, they won't even lose out. We've pegged it way too high. So it's an incentive for people to smuggle it in, depriving the nation of much needed revenue. Let's reduce it. Economies of scale. It just makes sense. So that you would have more visibility over devices that have actually paid the taxes or not paid. You can send notification to them that you have 90 days within which to pay. If you don't pay, your device can and will be blocked. So, and once that is up, this service is also running as well. It reduces the incentive for people to steal other people's phones. I've been going around my constituency as usual, and one of the largest security concerns is phone snatching. So if we set up the system, and we're going to do it, nobody has to queue to register any device. We can get that information from the telcos who have it already. If your device is lost or stolen, you can report it and it will be blocked, and it cannot be used on any network in this country. So for petty criminals who steal people's devices for resale, it becomes useless because it will be blocked. And the unblocking and unlocking industry too, unfortunately, will be affected.
Yeah.
But baby, so they have to bear with us.
It's 6 minutes to 9. My guest is Honorable Esla Osu-Ekufo. She's Minister for Communication and Digitalization. We're talking generally about the ministry, her sector, and also the 5G rollout. We can take your questions now. 054-998-6996. I have just two final questions on 5G. Please bring her water. two comments on 5G. The 10 years, is that not too long? And the premise of that is, since telecommunications is such a fast-changing sector, things happen so fast. There are new inventions almost every year. To give off our 5G and a sizable chunk of 4G to a consortium for a decade. I mean, a decade ago, we didn't even know 5G was possible. So many things can change within a year or two. What was the thinking around giving it a 10-year contract? Was it a financial thing? Was it what they wanted? Because 10 years seems a pretty long time, 2034.
It will come very quickly. I've been on this job for 8 years already. Who would have thought in 2017 that 2024 would come so quickly? So yes, it's a fast evolving industry. However, the underlying infrastructure, we still have 2G phones in this country. It works concurrently. In some parts of the world, they phased off 2G. But in Ghana, most of our users use 2G, 3G. So we're working towards reducing the reliance on 2G and moving more towards 3G, 4G. So yes, 10 years may seem a long time, but it's reasonable in the industry.
Finally, have you addressed the question of the apparent quick turnaround time between when the company was incorporated and when they were giving the I won't call it it wasn't an auction, so obviously when they were given the right to manage the infrastructure. I mean, the timeline seemed pretty short.
We've been working on this for a pretty long time. And we could only have set up this company once the approval was given for this, excuse me.
Yes.
This infrastructure company to be set up. And it is, at the moment, those who are registered with the Registrar Generals as shareholders are holding it pending the completion of shareholding agreements with all these partners. So the idea was, it was on 27th May that the partnership agreement with, what do you call it, the 5 partners was signed in Mumbai. And we came and announced it. Before going to conclude those discussions, you had to go with something to indicate that this is not just political talk, but we are serious about going down this path. It will be the first 5G shared network in Africa. So understandably, people would think that, yeah, maybe we're just sounding off and we have no intention of actually completing this transaction. So as at 27th May, we needed to demonstrate that the company had actually been set up and we are ready for business. They've been granted the spectrum. And so we really do have something that we're bringing to the table, which should make you interested in joining us, even though conversations had been ongoing with them for over a year.
And are we clear on what each of these 5 or 6 partners is bringing? Nokia, Finland, Tech Mahindra, Radisys, KNet. So, for example, KNet, what are KNet doing? Because KNet, I know in our sector, as broadcasters, they provide some shared infrastructure for digital terrestrial television. Why are they part of this? Is there any reason? I mean, we know AT and Telecel. Again, who is Ascend Digital? What are they bringing? Because, of course, we know Tech Mahindra and Radisys India. So, are the roles clear? Are you able to tell us what each of these specific consortium partners is contributing to the 5G rollout?
Okay. I spoke about the rural telephony network.
Yes.
Ascend Digital is the local subcontractor to the Chinese Huawei and CNTIC, who are building that infrastructure.
Okay.
And so their responsibility is to build the towers, operate and manage the network. So they have experience in building and operating shared networks for now. They are the only ones who are doing that in this country.
Okay.
They work with the Smart Africa Alliance too on other projects on the continent. So you may not have heard of them, but they've been very active in the sector for a while. So I just laugh when I hear some of these comments being made. When the Chinese suspended their operations because of our debt exchange negotiations, it's being funded by China Exim facility. So China Exim withdrew the funds. And so the Chinese said, okay, money in a hand, back in the ground. I'm not going to continue working if I'm not being paid. Ascend is the one the company which has kept this network up and running, even though they haven't been paid because they're a Ghanaian company. So if you're in a rural area and you're getting connectivity from this rural telephony network, it's because of Ascend Digital that has kept it running. We've made alternative arrangements for funding to enable this project to be completed by the end of this year. KNET, in addition to building and operating the only shared broadcasting infrastructure we have in this country, has also been providing connectivity, network connectivity in this country for a long time through satellite services. So they have experience in that as well. And that's why they were choosing to work with us on this. Nokia are providing an open radio access network. Radisys is giving us the entire core network as well. And Tech Mahindra is also providing services to us as well. So each of the consortium members is bringing
and what about
something,
AT and Telecel?
Something to the table. I'm coming. Now, AT partnered with Ascend to build the government network, which is providing high-speed connectivity to 951 state institutions across the country. So that infrastructure exists currently, providing 100 gigabits per second of connectivity to post offices, all district assemblies, selected hospitals, police stations, and some other government institutions around the country. District assemblies largely because they were complaining about lack of connectivity impeding their use of GIFMIS. Now they don't have any excuse. That infrastructure is there. They built 3,500 kilometers of fiber, backhaul and last mile fiber. They have high-speed radio network and microwave network as well. Some they've leased from other companies. So that network is there. AT is bringing that into, they own 50% of that network. They're bringing that to the consortium. Telecel also has extensive fiber that the end towers that the consortium can utilize. So everybody, MTN can decide whether to throw in its infrastructure or to contribute cash.
We are told they had prepared almost 1,300 cell sites when they announced a couple of years ago that they were ready for 5G. So I don't know whether that's in the conversation on what they will bring to the consortium now.
They will decide what to bring to the consortium.
But who's raising the money? Or they are raising the money together?
They are private. I said these are the share equity partners that we have for now. there will be others. There are private investors that are bringing in the capital that we need to do the work.
So have they paid the first 6.2 million?
Yes, they have.
I'm told the deadline was tomorrow.
They paid it already.
They paid it already. All right. A few quick questions around consumer responses. So, for example, Surfline exited the market in a way that was unannounced, and also some people had purchased bundles or whatever, and then Surfline just disappeared, and some are asking for compensation. Are you aware of this?
Compensation from whom?
The regulator, I guess, because if the
regulator doesn't compensate, it is the company.
So is the company, does it still exist?
It doesn't. It is really, really struggling.
So how do we protect the consumer who has paid for a service and the company disappears?
Unfortunately, when companies are liquidated, there's a pecking order in terms of who can get what at which time. Almost invariably, the consumer ends up with nothing. It's unfortunate, but once you take out those who have a first charge over their assets, you take out tax obligations, regulatory fees, and all of that, there isn't much left to go around. So it's most unfortunate. But as I told you, decisions taken in 2015 led directly to the collapse of these companies, these local broadband wireless access operators who didn't stand a chance once the space was opened up to the mobile network operators. So it's unfortunate. It's as if we gave with one hand and took with the other. But it's water under the bridge. I've had extensive conversations with them to see how we can support them. And it's not just Surfline which has exited the market, but Blue, Broadband Home, is it Gold Key or Gold Crest or something was also in there.
There's an interesting coincidence that a lot of the companies that have struggled have had government participation. Vodafone, Airtel, Surfline, Blue, even Busy.
Did they have government participation?
Or shares?
Government didn't have shares in
Vodafone, Airtel.
Only Vodafone and Airtel.
Government
had no shares in Surfline.
What about Busy Internet?
Nope.
Nothing at all.
Nope.
And Blue?
Nope. All private operators.
100%.
100%. Government had no interest in those.
Let's take a few questions from the audience. There's a gentleman who's been asking about mobile fraud and why, even though the SIM registration had been done, which we were told was going to prevent mobile fraud, we are still experiencing quite a bit of mobile fraud.
Have they reported it? And who did they report to? One, let me put it on record that the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization does not regulate mobile money. It is the Bank of Ghana which does. However, the Cybersecurity Authority is under the Ministry of Communications. They liaise closely with the National Communications Authority. And I've urged the Bank of Ghana to also, this is a shared space, regulatory space. They're regulating digital financial services. The infrastructure on which those services are delivered is regulated by the NCA. So they necessarily have to work closely together to resolve the issues in the sector. And they are. If you're a victim of mobile money fraud, report it to your network operator and the Cybersecurity Authority. And the SIM registry is there. Once they are notified, they would work with the network operators to block the numbers of those who are using them for fraud. But if you don't report it, there's no way. There is a standing committee which looks at all these things. But if they don't know that that is going on, and you report it to your network operator alone, the regulators are not aware that is persisting. So I'll urge everyone. I think they have a hotline, I believe, 292. Just call 292 and report it, and action will be taken on it. I know several SIMs that have been blocked because of this, but it's like criminals. We can never stamp out criminal activity. We can minimize it and make it more difficult for them to operate. But it is important that these regulatory agencies are notified so that they can work together.
There was a major issue a few months ago that people reported on this show, where when you send money from your bank account into your Momo, you were charged. And when we asked the banks at the time, I remember interviewing John Ebua on this. He said it was because if that happens, it's in error because the bank did not know you were the same person. He said it on this show. Because the point was that there was no charge for sending money from, because the law around the e-levy was very clear that it was when you are sending money to a different person. But there were a number of people who called into the show who said they were being charged for, maybe he's an ABSA customer and he has MTN and he's just pulling money into his wallet and then he's charged. And the explanation we're giving was that that would only happen if the two systems don't know you're the same person. Now, I use this to ask a question around the wisdom in doing a separate SIM registration from the existing Ghana card and NIA registration, because that's the only way in which that mistake can be made, that they would not know that the ESLA who owns this phone number is the same ESLA who has this bank account.
There are multiple databases. We're currently working to link all those databases so that these black holes will not be exploited by service providers. Now, we keep saying there's a separate SIM registration to the NIA database. Every SIM number to be registered has to be verified by the NIA. In the first stage, you need to get it linked to your NIA number before you can proceed to the second stage. So I don't know why this misinformation still persists. To proceed to the second stage of the SIM registration exercise, you need to indicate to your service provider that this is the Ghana card that your number is linked to. So it's part of the registration process. What is not part of the registration process is the verification phase, that you need to verify your SIM number with the NIA to use any service at all. That's not part of the SIM registration process because we're just building a database. What that database will be used for subsequently.
So who is responsible for the integration? The integration. So that if a bank has a Bernard SIM number, he needs to verify that this is the same guy with a Ghana card number. Is it the bank's responsibility? Is it the whose job is that?
I said that this is a shared regulatory space. So the Bank of Ghana, the National Communications Authority, the National Information Technology Agency need to sit down and work out how this space is going to be regulated. The National Information Technology Agency is responsible for all electronic transactions, so you can take them out of it. The NCA is responsible for regulating the infrastructure on which digital financial services are delivered. The Bank of Ghana is responsible for the digital financial service itself. If they work in isolation, we're going to continue having these problems. I've made this call several times ad nauseum. It is not about Ursula wanting to control anything. It is about benefits that the subscriber will get if these agencies collaborate more in the delivery of their services. They're all doing aspects of the same thing, so they cannot work in isolation. Currently, a committee has been set up to see how all institutions can share their databases. We have a national data center. You let your data sit in your institution, but let's build a highway which will connect all those things and make it possible for people to access the specific data set that they require, not the entire database. We're working on that as we speak.
Can government allocate some of the OPGW fiber over the Grico pylon to the operations of the Ghana Internet Exchange for quick expansion to the other regions. This will enable all service providers to be omnipresent in Ghana. This is very necessary as a prerequisite for the proposed 5G. Can the minister comment on this? Have you heard this suggestion before?
Sometime next month, I believe, as a follow-up to the subsea cable cut and the lessons learned from it. The NCA is convening a stakeholder conference to discuss the way forward, lessons learned, and what to do to avert any such situation from occurring. Now, localizing our data in local caches is important, and that's where the internet exchanges come in. And so how to make these internet exchanges available, their work available across the country would also be a feature of these conversations. So we're working on that. And there's several fiber networks in the country owned by government. As I indicated, this consortium will utilize what they require. But to make our country better connected, we're looking at ways of consolidating all government's fiber assets. Okay. And so that's also a work in progress.
A few quick questions. Please ask the minister, what happened to the data expiring directive she gave? Our data keeps expiring with limited time. This is Kafri from Legon.
I'm not aware of it. He should notify the NCA. He should notify the NCA with the network that is doing that, because I made it clear that data cannot expire. Once you top up, you should be allowed to utilize what's left on your bundle.
Okay, so listeners who have that problem should notify the NCA. I think they gave a number earlier today. Sylvester says, I once reported a Momo fraud case to the cybercrime unit, and all the person who picked the phone told me was Shikanashi, and that there is nothing they can do about it.
Cybercrimes unit where?
Sylvester, supply more information.
There's a cybercrimes unit of the police service, and there's a cybersecurity authority. Call 292 and report to the cybersecurity authority. They liaise with the police, the network operators on that. So,
all right,
he should work that.
Please ask the minister how the 5G rollout is going to be any better. Users are currently faced with very poor 3G, 4G mobile internet from a number of telcos that keep offering us poor quality internet and poor quality customer service at decreasing cost. We cannot even reach customer service when we have challenges. Why is 3G, 4G mobile currently so poor? How different will 5G be? This is Albert in Abilingbe.
As I've said, this is not the same. We're doing things differently, and so we expect to get different results. So he should just watch the space.
Currently, as a minister, for me, Telecel network has been like a scam company. They sell you data and voice credit, but their network does not work at all. You are unable to use the credit you buy, and suddenly it expires, and you buy new data and go through the whole process again. I'm fed up with Telecel, and I've stopped buying credit and data from them. Please ask the minister why they do not check to make sure the network works, and why they cannot stop the telcos from expiry data menace.
Please contact the NCA as well. Don't just vote with your feet. Make your voice heard so that the issues can be resolved. So contact the NCA with your challenge. Okay?
Have the telecom companies scrapped the 1,000 cedi threshold for mobile money withdrawals, which previously attracted a 10 cedi fee for withdrawals above 1,000? It appears they now charge a 1% flat fee on all withdrawals, regardless of the amount. Let me know if there's anything she can help with.
I'm not aware. I mean, I don't work with the mobile money issues, so I will find out.
Okay.
But he should direct those inquiries to the Bank of Ghana.
As the minister, what will happen to customers of Selfline after the Selfline 4G after the ISP folded up? I think I asked this question, and you said in the pecking order of when the company liquidates, it's the customers are the last. So is the company liquidated? Do we know? Do we know if they've been liquidated?
It's dead so far, as far as I know.
But I know that they have to be an official liquidation by the Register of Companies. We don't know if they've done this.
I'm not sure if that process has gone through. But if it's folded up, it's folded up. Because so far they've stopped operating in the country. And so it is no longer in operations. Not in liquidation, but it's no longer in operation.
But I find ourselves in a very competitive market. If other telcos decide to go to sleep, whereas others decide to be up to it 24/7, why is she trying every possible means to curtail its growth to the advantage of the lazy ones? Jones, Adobwinla.
I'm not trying to curtail anybody's growth. I'm trying to make it possible for them to deliver better services to all subscribers so that we can have some competition in the market. And it's just government giving everybody a leg up, including MTN as well. People are complaining about their services because of congestion on their network. This would also enable them to also lease capacity to deliver better services.
A few final comments. Bernard, please ask the minister if she can do anything about the multiple promotional text messages from telcos every single day.
You didn't even ask me about my foundation.
I'll go there. I'll go there. And I ask, no, these are for the comments, don't worry.
Okay.
So, I don't know, promotional text messages, and I don't know if you...
From telcos?
Yes.
They should report to the NCA as
the
well.
NCA has a lot of work to do.
That's why they are there.
Please ask the minister, maybe you should send them a query on why so many people are complaining to you on air about things they should be doing.
I will do that. They are listening to.
Ask the minister why government agencies do not host their servers at the government data center. Is there a policy to get them to host there instead of other private data centers or building their own data centers? This is Robert.
Yeah, I've been against government agencies building their own data centers. So usage of the national data center has gone up. We're discouraging them from building their own data centers. NITA is working even with the Public Procurement Authority to ensure that when requests come for approval for these things, they refer them to NITA first. And so they still have capacity there. And the data there is better protected than in the private data centers. So all public agencies who need data center services, their first point of call should be the National Data Center.
Someone wanted to ask you, what is the state of cybersecurity authorities building currently under construction?
Lack of funditis.
Lack of funds.
It's stalled a bit. And we're in a difficult position. So we're still hopeful that construction will resume.
All right. Are you gunning for any new position? We've been seeing stories about female running mates, and invariably your photo also shows up.
Really?
When the stories are written, we see the chief of staff, we see the DCAF administrator, and then we see your picture as well. I don't know if you've seen any of these. Is it something you're aware of? Is it something you're interested in?
Is that a position you lobby or gun for? I am absolutely against any active seeking of any such position. It's an appointed position. I think the flag bearer should be left and given the space to decide who he thinks can best partner him in both the elections and in governance, because we are breaking the 8. So people may speculate, but me as Lowusu, I haven't told anybody that I'm interested in any position. If the flag bearer thinks in his wisdom that I can assist him in this position, why not? But I'm certainly not putting myself out
when your name is thrown into the mix in the media, do you feel the need to come out and say, I didn't put my name out there?
No media person can ever say anywhere that I have contacted him to put my name out there, or anybody for that matter. I think the flag bearer should be given the space to choose who he thinks can best partner him in this. It would be great if a female is chosen. I made that call 16, 20 years ago. When did Pakwesi?
I think 8 years ago.
Was it 8 years ago?
4 years ago, the candidate for PPP was Bridget, but 8 years ago, she was a running mate, I think.
Okay. And that was when Ekweadonko first came on the scene. There was a forum on female participation in politics, and I represented the MPP, and I made that call there forcefully, that if we're interested in expanding the space for female participation in our politics, I think that the two large parties should take deliberate policies to field more women in their strongholds, which will ensure that more of them would get elected into parliament, and to choose a female running mate, because then you're a whisker away from the presidency. He got upset because I said the two main parties, even though other parties, smaller parties, had chosen female running mates in the past. And I said they don't stand any chance of winning elections in this country. So they may make that gesture, which we appreciate. However, for us to have a real shot at improving governance at the highest level in terms of female participation, the two main parties should consider that. This was a long time before either of them.
As a convention, that at least one of the two people should be a woman.
It would be great.
It would be great.
It would be great.
Should it start with Bawumia, since Mahama has done it?
Oh, let him be given the space to choose the person that he best thinks can partner him. I mean, I think it's even disrespectful for people to be lobbying as if he can't make.
But it's part of affirmative action, isn't it? That's how you get more women to be. For example, you tell the political parties that you can reserve some seats for certain disadvantaged groups, so that you can increase the number of women in parliament. So it may not be disrespectful if the female lobby strongly thinks that that's the best way to send that signal. It may not be.
It may not be. I made that call many years ago, and it would be great if both of the two main parties can field female running mates, and that gives us a shot of having a female vice president. But I'm against this active pushing of personalities in his face. I think that's disrespectful.
You launched the Esla Foundation, I think, over the weekend?
Yes, on Saturday.
What is that about?
Government can't provide jobs for all the young people who need jobs. And I think we need to focus more on building their capacity to also be entrepreneurs in their own right, and to develop their own businesses. So it's something that has been agitating my mind for a long time, to see how you can give small businesses, people with ideas, a leg up. And worked with a few partners and friends to put this foundation together, largely for youth empowerment and for women's empowerment as well. There are a lot of women who would like to acquire new skills to be able to improve their own economic earning abilities. The young people who are clamoring for jobs. I mean, I go around in my constituency and everybody wants to go to the security service, and I tell them that there isn't enough space there for everybody around the country who wants to go into the security service. So can we look at alternatives? And it's not everybody who can be employed in the public sector as well. The private sector has much more room for growth than the public sector. So equipping them with employable skills, which will enable them to set up businesses on their own, giving them startup capital, training them, granting them entrepreneurial skills as well. Not everybody knows how to manage a business. They need to
will this be
taught.
within Ablekuma West, or this is the whole country?
Oh, we have to start from somewhere. I don't have money like that to do the
so
whole
this
country.
Is initially
we're starting from
constituency.
Ablekuma West to the world.
What is the Miss Geek? What is Miss Geek?
Miss Geek is a competition that is aimed at unearthing innovation and talent amongst 13 to 21-year-old girls. And we've just launched that, the second one as well. You should interview Selassie, who won the first one in 2019 and went on to win the Miss Geek Africa competition that's also run by the Smart Africa Alliance. So she's the reigning Miss Geek Africa from Ghana, and she has a very innovative solution to curb mobile money fraud as well. So she was 18 or 20 to 18 years old at the time. Her father heard about this competition when we launched it on a radio station and encouraged her to put in an application, and they're taken through a 3-week masterclass to train them in how to pitch. The Accra Digital Center works on them to develop their ideas into prototypes, and we have a national competition. They select the best 15 entries, and they have a competition, and it's narrowed down to the last 3, and then we choose a winner, and the winner of Miss Gig Ghana will represent Ghana at Miss Gig Africa. This will be held in August in Kenya.
So this is still under your foundation?
No.
This is something separate?
This is a project of the ministry.
Wonderful. Yeah. So that's those two. So it means you want to go back into parliament?
Yes, I am standing for re-election.
Aren't you tired?
Someone has to do the dirty work.
Is parliament work dirty?
No. Someone has to get their hands dirty and solve the problems that plague our constituencies around the country. Now, you know, the more you work at something, the more you get experience, and you build networks that can help. And so I believe that I'm better positioned to serve the people of Ablikuma West than any other contestant. And we've worked, though. We've built roads. We have, when it comes to sports infrastructure, and I'm big in it will be part of my foundation as well, including esports development. We built sports infrastructure. Our basketball team, DC Keys, I'm giving them a shout out this morning. They're winning all their matches. They've just joined the national competition.
We will have a chance to discuss as elections get closer, specific constituencies, and hopefully you'll be willing to talk to us.
I'd love that.
Ablikuma West is one to watch.
And because even those who hate me the most, they admit that, man, this woman has developed her constituency.
So you're confident you will win?
Oh, the
we'll
workday
ground.
ground.
We'll see how that
but
works.
I'm confident that I'll win.
Thank you, Madam Eslo Owusu Ekufu, for talking to us. Always a pleasure having you. Good luck. We'll talk to you again soon, hopefully, when you are back in season.
I am.
It's a season. It's a seasonal.
Now I'm back in season.
Well, we hope it lasts long. Thank you.
It's chocolate.
the National Day of Persons with Disabilities is today, and there's a big event happening at the Accra Rehabilitation Center at 9 a.m. It's on the theme, Reenact the Persons with Disability Act Now. This is organized by the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, and I really need to urge you to be part of this. Partners include Sight Savers. So today, the 24th of June, is the National Day of Persons with Disabilities, and it's happening at the Accra Rehabilitation Center at 9 a.m. So you are 36 minutes late if you want to be there. Please go and support people living with disabilities. Nathan?
Yes, if you want to buy anything, it has to be the very best. That's why you need Diamond's 42.5 R grade cement. It's the highest quality cement on the Ghanaian market. So if you are a block maker, you are constructing, you are doing all kinds of things with blocks and cement, Diamond cement should be your option. They even have the 32.5 grade R grade, which is the more affordable strand. So call them on 0244 313 368 or 0540 111 or 0202021175. Diamond cement, still hard as a diamond. You work very hard, you get home, you want to sleep, but the mattress is not allowing you to do so. It's sagging, and you don't want that. Go to Latex Foams showrooms and you find high quality mattresses and furniture crafted with your ultimate relaxation in mind. Call 0302 231155 to 62 or 0322008499. Latex Foam is your partner for life. Or visit them online, latexfoamghana.com.
When we move next into the on-air series for the Citi Business Festival, my guest is Andrews Aiku. He is the coordinator of the MBA program for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at UPSA. He's also a lecturer. We'll be talking about sales strategies for SMEs. That's on as part of the on-air series for the Citi Business Festival. Enjoy. Welcome to another edition of our on-air series for the Citi Business Festival. This is our fourth and final week focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises. Today we're talking strategic sales management for SMEs. My guest is the coordinator for the MBA at UPSA. This MBA is in Innovation and Entrepreneurship. He's also a lecturer. Dr. Andrews Aiku, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This is your umpteenth time of being on this program. We're excited to have you again.
Thank you very much.
What do you mean by strategic sales management for SMEs?
So in the past, traditional ways have been used by SMEs and businesses to develop their sales strategies. But currently, when we talk about strategic sales management, we are referring to the aspect of how do you plan the sales itself? What resources do you need to plan the sales? And how do you implement the sales? So the strategic side of sales talks about the actionable points you need to put together. For instance, I want to run a sales promo. Where are the clients? Which channel should I use? Which channel should I adopt? And what is the length of the implementation? So that is what comes into the strategic sales management approach.
You've used two words, client and channels, but I suspect there are specific components of any strategic sales management process. Can you highlight some of them?
So when you look at the strategic sales management, there are 4 C's I want to consider first. The cost, the customer, the convenience, and the communication. Okay. Anytime you are thinking about strategically selling anything, think about the customer. What are the customer needs? What does the customer want? Bernard, whether you like it or not, in this difficult economy where everybody is talking about things are going how, the customer has taste and preferences. People are still spending. Why? Because they spend where they think they have value. So think about the customer. Secondly, think about the cost. What is the cost involved in delivering the services to the customer? The customer thinks about price when he thinks about cost. So strategically, how do I think about the various pricing channels? Am I using psychological pricing or scheming pricing to sell? The next one is convenience. Things are difficult and people want to enjoy the convenience of buying from you. So don't make it difficult. Are you accessible? That is the convenience. And then finally, how are you communicating to them? the guy's salary is coming this week, and he's going to spend. But you need to communicate, create awareness, engage them. Not when the customer has sent a WhatsApp to your page and it takes you 2 hours to respond. So now, if you want to strategically position to sell, think about the customer, think about the costs, think about the channels, and think about communications.
Wonderful.
And that goes into what the whole thing about strategically positioning your sales strategy as a business.
When we say something is strategic, does it suggest that it's no longer at the level of operation, but that it's at the top of the organization? So sales then is not just a function of how intelligent the sales force is, but basically it is part of the overall company strategy.
Exactly. So a company may take a decision on how to sell next month, maybe for the rest of the month to the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
How do you strategically position yourself? So it is the person willing to spend. But how do you strategically position yourself? What is your positioning strategy? So the strategy moves away a little. It's still with operations, but at the top level, it's a strategic decision to sell. You are not doing an advert just for the sake of doing the advert. You are doing to draw customers' attention and to enable them to buy and be satisfied with the product that you are selling.
Beyond the 4 C's, you mentioned in an earlier conversation the key components of strategic sales management for SMEs.
Yeah.
And I think there are 7, if you can highlight some of them.
So some of them include adaptation and innovation. Currently, if you don't adapt and you don't innovate, you are not strategically positioned.
Okay.
The Ghanaian customer, he has money, but he knows where to spend. Secondly, market research. Their taste and preferences are changing every day. They are saying so many things. So if you don't do market research, don't pay anybody. Yourself, talk to them and have a feedback mechanism. I've said this before. In Ghana, when you buy stuff, they'll ask you, you like my product and it's the best? No. Ask them, how do I improve on my service? The next thing you need to do is to look at your financial budget when you are strategically positioning yourself. How much do you spend? Thinking about cost driver, what is costing you to even develop the product? These are some of the key components that when we think about strategically and adopt with the innovations and what is happening now, you realize that you'll be able to position your business, and whilst everybody is complaining, you are increasing your sales.
Let's talk about the benefits of strategic sales management for SMEs. What are some of the advantages, or what does it do for them?
If you're able to strategically position your message for SME in terms of your sales, your customers will be satisfied. Your customer experience itself will change. And your customers will be willing to spend on you because you will be able to target them. For instance, what time do you do your advert? So you know about WhatsApp. People have group WhatsApp. We will post. When do you post? What is your social media calendar? Are you posting when your customer is ready to listen and read your notice? So when people say, well, I've posted, nobody is responding. Nobody responds because they are not there. It's very beneficial that every step of the way of your sales is very strategic. Think about it. Position yourself. Everything is about strategy. If you don't strategize, then you'll be doing advert. Then people tell me, I've spent so much on Instagram, there's no response. Who do you think you are talking to? Are you aware their attention is somewhere else, not on what you are selling? So you need to be strategically right when you are taking a decision. And it's very beneficial to organizations when they are able to do this.
So you improve your sales performance, obviously. You get competitive advantage.
Exactly.
And then you're able to also scale.
Yes.
Talk about importance of scaling.
Importance of scaling when it comes to strategic marketing or strategic sales is having access to new markets. So I'm selling food to customers at UPS. What are the other options available? What about UG? How do I scale to UG? If I'm able to satisfy, I'm able to get referrals to be able to grow. So everything is about strategies. So if I want a new market, I want to enter into a new market to sell, you don't just get up and say, oh, okay, Chado area is developing. Let me go and set up a branch. Who will buy? Who told you they're interested? But strategically identify them. So who is watching your post? Who is clicking on your stuff? How many times are they spending? When you spend time to strategically understand who is watching your post, What comment is the person buying? And what other comments are the person searching? It will help you to position your organization to be able to sell as well.
Let's talk about some challenges that SMEs will face in trying to embark on this journey of strategic sales. I'm sure resource will be a main one.
Key resources. Human resource, financial resource is one. Secondly, competition. So much competition in the market. There's a program by Exim Guarantee, and some of my students went to, it's a fair, they went to, and they were telling that when we went there, they said all those into fashion. They were more than 200.
Wow.
And I said, what makes you stand out is your differentiation strategy. So most SMEs say, well, we are cutting, this is what we are showing, but who is buying? What are the latest trends? What are people saying? Resources, adaptation, technology, and financial. You have the resources to pay. Have you seen people's budget for online sales? It's crazy. So you need to be very deliberate about who you want to sell to. The challenges, you can't run away from it. But how do you position yourself strategically to come out of it?
One thing we've been told is that because small companies don't have enough staff, social media and digital channels become very important.
Yes.
So whereas a large bank may have lots of sales force, or a large insurance company will have people who basically are the foot soldiers. They move from house to house.
Yeah.
Small company cannot afford that. So for them, social media, and of course they can't afford traditional media as well. So social media becomes a go-to place. So what I want you to do is to give us some tips about how SMEs can use digital channels and social media to try and compete for business, knowing that they cannot afford the personnel and they can also not traditionally advertise on traditional media.
So if you are listening to me, think about it. The first thing I'll tell you is to develop a social media strategy. A social media strategy is a strategic document that tells who you post to, on what channel are you posting, on what platform are you posting, and what content strategy are you going to use. So before you even post anything on your WhatsApp or on your Instagram, realize that on Instagram, people are interested in testimonials, short videos, something short but interesting. You yourself, if the thing is not interesting to you, why will you post? So develop a social media calendar. Have a content strategy. When you have a content strategy, you don't wake up in the morning and just post that you are not well. But your customers need to hear something. So tell them what to hear. And please, one of the things also when it comes to content strategy now, that things are quite difficult, is to realize that you are not just selling, you are educating and advising customers. Some customers come to your page just for advice purposes. Not just to buy, but they want to buy something, they want to be aware. So know your awareness strategy. Have an engagement. So Bernard, if you want to sell now strategically on social media, have a social media strategy, have a content strategy to know what content you put out, and have an engagement strategy. People go ahead, have a calendar, they know when to post, but they don't know how to engage the customer to stay on, to chat more. Listen, when the customer is aware, they develop interest, they consider your product, and they pay for it. It's a stage. If I'm not aware and I don't have any interest, I won't consider you and I won't pay for you. That is where the thing starts from. So ensure that you have a content strategy where your customer will be aware, will consider you, will develop the interest, boom, they will pay.
So there's a general social media strategy.
Yes.
There's a content strategy.
Exactly.
And then there's an engagement
strategy.
Interaction. So the object of the social media is not just putting the information out.
No.
Because it's engagement that leads to the four things: the awareness, the interaction, the interest, the consideration, and the payment.
And let me add that after payment, post-purchase reaction from the customers, you won't come and buy again. You will just say that I won't buy. So after they finish buying, engage them. Don't ask them, are you enjoying the food? Ask them, how can I serve you better? No, so when are you going to buy the next sale? Don't use such words. It's not about when are you going to buy. When can I serve you again? Our words changes so many things. Don't push yourself. Don't force yourself on the customer. The customer is key. When you understand who you are selling to, you will know how to engage them.
in that sense, would you advise me to outsource my social media strategy? I'm asking this because let's say I am in food delivery business, and basically I cook and distribute on UPSA campus. Okay, so my focus is on making the food ready and getting it to the right places. I don't have enough money to hire a social media manager. So a company comes and says, we'll manage your social media for you. What are the risks of outsourcing something like social media strategy to a third party in this very customer-centric market that we operate in?
The risky part is when the business doesn't have a social media policy and a social media strategy. What do you expect them to do? They don't understand your business, but they know how to follow your plan, your strategy, your policy. So please, I will advise you to focus on your core competence and outsource. And that's what I tell my students. That's what I tell anybody doing business coaching sessions. Please focus on your core competence. Get a company that have the skills, that can take good videos with good phones, and they will know how to place your advert to attract customers' attention. You have the skill of doing Greek yogurt. You have the skills of doing sobolo. You have the skills of cooking. You have the skill of the skill of doing spare parts. Please focus on it. You have the skill of accountancy. Please focus on it. When you know that there are people who have core competence, and you see some online, especially on channel one, you'll be shocked. The videos you see. But these are people who have the core competence. So focus on what you have to do. You cannot do everything. I meet some people, I cook, I deliver. I said, do you have the skills for delivering? You own a motor. When there's a problem with the motor, do you know how to repair it? They don't know. Focus on your key things. And people have businesses, have skills who can do it much better than you think. So I advise you to outsource.
This is the Citi Business Festival on-air series. Today we're looking at strategic sales management for SMEs. My guest is Dr. Andrew Saiku, who is the coordinator of the MBA program for entrepreneurship and innovation at UPSA. He's also a lecturer. He's been telling us about the 4 C's of strategic sales management: cost, customer, convenience, and communication. He's also given us some components of strategic sales management, and then the benefits. We've been talking now about a social media strategy for strategic sales management. Now, social media is a component of digitalization, which is much broader. I'm talking about e-commerce and that type of thing. Can you talk a bit about how SMEs can leverage digitalization for strategic sales management?
So one of the things that I've done recently is to advise SMEs to use customer relationship management to trace when was the last time the customer bought? What did the customer buy? What are the customer's impression? How long does the customer stay? And there's this company I met recently, Recom Technologies. They have a customer relationship management software which helps you to, so at the end of the month, you know your best customers. When did they buy? How often do they buy? You need all this information to take a decision. So when you are developing a sales strategy, you need that. Secondly, digitization. Bernard, I was on the call with some SMEs and the guy said, can you go online and do a presentation on Zoom? They said, we don't know how to do it. These are digital tools, they come handy. When you are talking to a customer, demonstration of your products and services helps you to sell. So you need a customer relationship management system, e-commerce platform. When people are searching for you, they Google your name. As far as they Google your name, they will find you somewhere. And they give some endorsements, some little endorsements on certain e-commerce websites help. So have all this and to help you to really position your business for growth.
I noticed you've been writing articles since COVID and of course post-COVID around how SMEs can thrive in the difficult business environment we are in. You've written, for example, about how SMEs can do on the in the context of high exchange rate.
Yes.
High operational cost, high cost of living, high lending rates. Can you sort of work this sales thing within that context for me? So as we speak, business environment is tough. Credit to SMEs is low, right? Interest rates are very high. Exchange rates are also very high. People are not buying. Talk to me about some of the things SMEs can do to make sure their sales still grows in such a tough environment.
In such a tough environment, high cost of operations, streamline your operations. You can't do everything, just streamline your operations. Secondly, customers are complaining about high prices. Have a pricing strategy. buy one, get one free, discount pricing, buy more, get more, bundle your pricing. There are a lot of strategies you can use. Now, customers are very picky. They don't just buy, they want to know. So the customers are interested in the value more than the price. What do I get by buying from you? Think about that. And then customers want favors, delivery. They don't want the cost of delivery. Add it to the price, make it simple. So think about all those strategies. But you need to survive. Don't collapse. No. You need to survive now. It will pass. All this storm will pass. But be very ready to strategize your business and you will grow.
Are there any specific steps you can give us in developing a strategic sales management plan?
In developing a sales management plan, you should do a market research. Everything about research to find out the trends in the market, the innovations that are happening, the adaptation. So now, SMEs, if you are planning, you need to be flexible. You need to be adaptable. Prices of fuel will go up next week. What will you do? So you need to know how to adjust to those prices. Secondly, you need to look at your finances and your budgeting. You will not be able to plan your sales if you don't have those things. And then key performance indicators. I met a lot of SMEs, business owners. What are your key? They don't know. Develop key performance and know your milestones. Know where you are going. Know where you come from. So if I want to increase my sales by 10%, what was the sales last month? These are key things that will help with your planning. And some of us are available to help business. We'll share templates with you that will help you to develop some of these things. They are not difficult. You can easily do that.
Do I need an MBA from UPSA to and are there sales focused programs? Because right now everybody wants to sell.
Oh yes.
Are there any sales focused short programs that people can come for to help them develop this type of strategy?
Sure. The Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana have short sales programs on customer relationship management, sales, and other things that people can also do. But people should learn how to read. Exactly. That's one of the things people should learn. When you read, it helps. When you read on your own. So normally when SMEs come to me, I ask them to read. When I'm doing business coaching for you, you read. Everything you read. Because whatever you are going to read will apply to your business. I will advise you, but you need to read.
How different is a business-to-business sales strategy from a business to customer or consumer? Because I do know that there are some companies that strictly deal with other companies in providing service versus selling to mass market. Can you talk a bit about the different emphasis when you're dealing with those two?
So when you are doing business to customer, it's much easier. Individual customers, you understand their taste and preferences. You can adjust anytime. When you are selling to organizations, it becomes very difficult because they are so big. Their demands are more. Their specifications are more. You need to tailor the products and services to suit them.
Are you cool? Talking about sales for SMEs. All part of our final week of the Citi Business Festival 2024. We are back tomorrow morning with a lot more. So do join us tomorrow morning from 9:15. Before we leave though, the literacy challenge is still on. If you are a JHS student and you are a wordsmith with a passion for development, this is your chance to win 10,000 CDs and a wonderful trophy. Join the literacy challenge 2024. These are key dates you should take note. 13th of July, that's the deadline for sending in your scripts. You are writing to this prompt in not less than 600 words. Write about the role of the youth in shaping the future of Ghana, what changes you would like to see, and how can young people contribute to making them happen. Script must be endorsed by parents. It should be in your own handwriting, and add your full contact details and send your entries to the front desk of Channel 1 TV or Citi FM, or send to PO Box GP 14123 across Central, or you can call 0205 973 973 to find out more. Literacy Challenge 2024 is powered by Citi FM, supported by Channel 1 TV, sponsored by Ghana Gas, A-Life Soap, Fortune Spread, and Ruby Biscuits by M4 Foods, and Prospectus Ghana. Alright, that's how I wrap it up on today's edition of the Citi Breakfast Show. My name is Nathan Call. Earlier you heard Richard Delaskay. Bernard Avila was in the hot seat. He took us all the way through to the end. Let's get into the news at 10.